bum 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 bum. Do da be ba do 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 be ba da ba do ba do. Yeah, big boy, loving it. Welcome to the show. Don't be a D. Welcome to the show. Hello, big boy. Today's show, big boy, is gonna be family friendly fun today. We're gonna do a family. Big boy's playing the part of Katherine. There's the microphone. Oh, there's the microphone. Big boy. There's Big Boy playing the part of Katherine. Hey, Biggest. We're live. Live and alive. Live, oh. Cheeky little bonus stream for your requisite pleasures. My name is Iain Lee. Stacey is the first one in the hood. Followed very, very closely by the Jakey B. Oh, I haven't got my... hang on a minute. Oh, thing popped out of my ear. Hang on a minute, let's get it. Who are these people? Let's get it. Pete is here. Pete is third cab off of the taxi cab rank of life, of love. I'm 14 stone 8. I don't want to make a big thing about weight. Look at that belt. Look at that belt. Look at those pants. 14 stone 8. Iain, how did you do it? How did you lose so much weight? Well, first of all, let me just say, weight is not something we should be judging each other on. If people are different weights, that's great, and I'm cool with that. However, for me, I was unhappy with the weight that I had become. Not because of society, because of me. Because of me. How did you do it, Iain? I stopped eating so much food, aka I ate less food. That's what I did. I ate less. I walked a bit more for a while. I don't even do the walking anymore. I ate less food, and I'm going to be honest. I did have one secret thing up my sleeve.
Big buckle of drugs with no top on?
That was the one thing I had. And then...
I was strung out on heroin.
That was the second thing that I had. Apart from that, I'm going to eat a banana on stream. If you're just listening to the audio podcast of this, shame on you. Because I am about to seductively eat a banana. This is family friendly if you're listening to the audio version. If you're watching the video version, this is so not family friendly. But audio is family friendly. I'm going to play some adverts. And I know what we can call the people who are non-subs. I think I've got an idea for it. Let's just go here. Let's get rid of them. They've gone. We call them Potsies. Potsies or POTS. Now, POT stood for something. But I can't remember. Hang on. What did it stand for? Without knowing what it stands for, it doesn't make sense. I can't remember. All I can remember is we call them Potsies. But what does POT, P-O-T, stand for in this scenario? Dave says he likes patriots. I have no idea what POT stands for. I have no idea. Piece of trash. Thank you, Mandy. Piece of trash. I get it, Patreons and Patriots. We get it, Dave. We can have both. Patriots and piece of Potsies. Where are the Potsies? Potsies are watching the flipping adverts. That's where the Potsies are right now. Right now. Pieces of trash. That's where the Potsies are. I'm going to get a haircut tomorrow. My boys are coming. I've been informed by their mother that the youngest needs a haircut. I'm so proud of my boys. My youngest is scared of swimming in open water. Why? Sharks. Why? Because he's nuts. Why? Because he watched all 4 Jaws movies when we were on holiday in Rome. But it's a phobia. He knows that the sharks won't be there, but he's worried that there will be sharks be there. He went swimming in a lake this week. That's my boy. And I'm so proud of him. Mandy's had her second jab this morning. I am going to get my second jab on Tuesday. Woohoo! Yes, man. Here's the thing. It's bin day. Now, the bin men didn't come last week. They alternate. So last week should have been recycling and cardboard. They didn't come and they haven't been. So today is rubbish today. And boy, they have to come quickly because I put some cooked chicken in that bin 4 days ago. And I put the bin out yesterday. But the bin today is covered in maggots. It is covered in maggots.
Shut up.
I'm not joking.
Oh, shit, I'm away.
You better be. So they need to come and empty that bin today. And then I need to take that bin in the back garden. I need to bleach it. I need to hose it down. The bin, when I say full of maggots, I don't mean you open it up and there's there's 20 litres of maggots. But there's maggots on the outside, there's maggots on the inside, because I put a lovely bit of cooked chicken in there. Like an idiot. This big boy is sat there. Hello, biggers. So I got to clean that bin. I got to clean out a bin. How is your day going? Huh? Let's get Skype open, guys. Let's do this. We might do this instead of tonight's show. We got to catch up on our hours. Hey, there's a voice message from Wednesday. Could be racist. I always warn you, these voice messages could be racist. Let's have a listen. That's Jerry. Can you hear the rain? Can you hear the rain?
Who are these people?
They're my friends, Mum. They're my friends. So far, we've talked about a lot. We've talked about maggots, cooked chicken, bins, haircuts, swimming, children, losing weight. And we haven't even been going for 6 minutes yet. Imagine the potential this show could have for your soul. Phone up and ask me a question. Jack says, Ian, I want to get into broadcasting. Can I work for you for free? I'm looking for experience. Well, I'm not a broadcaster. I'm just a guy who's just finished a therapy session and realised that the last year has been a waste of time. Waste of time. Jack, I don't broadcast. I do a pointless stream from my house, and you ain't coming round here, buddy. Next question. Phone up and ask me anything, right? And when I say anything, it can be about my personal life. It can be about my professional life. It can also be trivia. It can also be like general knowledge quiz. You can come and clean the bin. How's about that? Come and clean my bin. You can also quiz me. And I will beat you at any quiz, you potsies, you potsy webbers. I will beat you, all of the pots. Watching this, I will beat you at quizzing. It says on my thing we've got 81 people watching, and that for me is great because it's 81 people that I have nothing but respect and love for. Why am I doing a stream? It says 163 for you, Lewis. Well, good for you. Why am I doing a stream today? Because we need to make up our hours. We're supposed to be doing one tonight, but Jack, come and clean my bin. I need it done today. I live near Aylesbury. Okay? Come and do it. Tweety Bird says, I watched your interview with Ozzy Osbourne last night. I did interview Ozzy Osbourne years ago. You asked him who would play him in a movie. What did he say? Well, I don't remember. You watched it. I don't remember. That was like years ago. Gatford says he would own me a quiz of general knowledge. Right, Gatford, Skype in. Can a quiz master Skype in, please, and ask us questions? Can a quiz... By the way, Ozzy Osbourne is the nicest smelling person I've ever met in my life. How does this microphone sound? It feels very tinny in my ears. Gatford, Skype him. Quizmaster, Skype him. Now, he said Denzel Washington would play him in the movie. That's good because Ozzy Osbourne is white and Denzel is a person of colour. So, someone... Gatford hasn't even phoned in yet for the I will beat you at trivia. I will beat you at trivia. DT Tuscan says, I'm only on my computer as I have a speed awareness course. Very embarrassed. You shouldn't be embarrassed. I've done 3 speed awareness courses, but you have to look at the screen. I've heard from some people saying that I've heard some people saying that they got told off for not looking at the screen the whole time. Gatford, stay there. Hello, Claire. Hello, Claire. Oh, Claire is not there. Gatford, I'm resuming the call. Hello, Gatford. Right, that didn't work. Hello?
Yes, hello there.
Well, why can't I see you, please?
Well, look, my camera is on.
Right,
so
goodbye. We're going to do this on... Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I've closed Skype. You shouldn't be there.
Well, that's not my problem.
It isn't your problem, actually. But we're going to do it on Zoom. Have you got Zoom on your iPad?
Yeah, I've got Zoom on my iPad and my phone and other devices.
You are really rubbing it in today, mister.
I'm ebullient.
Ebullient. Oh, I see.
The wordplay you're going to get in this quiz showdown.
All right. Well, here we go. I'm going to put a link in the chat. All right.
Oh, hold on. I'm not in the chat. Sorry. I'll go there and get it.
Goodbye, caller.
Yeah, whatever.
I can't copy the invitation. Put it there. There we go. Are you still there? He's gone. All right. So let's do a quiz. Oh, I've not posted it. I have. I've posted it. Why is that still there? Delete. Right. Come and join the meeting. Come. I want a quizmaster. I want Gatford. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do it. If you're listening to this podcast, you are so lucky. You are so lucky. So I've just had a therapy session. I've got to do 40 sessions in the first year of my college, and we're way off. Prediction started. What's the prediction? Win channel points if you make the correct prediction. We still need a quizmaster. Gatford is joining us, but we need a quizmaster. Who will win? Predict. Get started. I don't know how it works. I'll do that. I don't even know what's going on, so I'm out of the prediction. I need to get rid of that. Hello, Gatford. Oh, we might not be able to hear you. Hang on a minute, because I just had a therapy session, and I've come to the conclusion that the last year of my life has been a waste of time. A waste of time. Hang on, please calm down, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Welcome. Here comes someone who I suspect I don't know. Hello, Claire.
Here comes the sun.
Do-do-do-do.
Here comes the sun.
And I say
it's all right. Just to be clear, no Beatles, no Monkeys, no Beach Boys.
Excuse me, you're not the quizmaster. Claire, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear. Please be quiet, Gatford. We're talking. Claire is entered the room. So show some respect.
Respect.
Yes.
Gatford, have you lost a bit of weight?
I'm trying to. Thank you.
Well, you look. Maybe it's the camera angle. I don't know.
It
But
could
you
be
look
the camera. I am trying.
Okay.
I lost a pound. Does that count?
I'm 8 weeks ago, I was 16 stone 4. Today, I'm 14 stone 8.
Wow.
I'm addicted to losing weight now. That's the problem. Right. Yeah. Dave has got Beatles news. Beatles news is that the Get Back documentary is going to be 6 hours long, which is exciting. Claire, are you here to be the quiz person?
I can be.
Well, can you do a quiz?
All right, then. I'll do a quiz. I'll top my head. How about...
First one to ring their bell gets to answer.
I don't have a bell.
Unlucky, mate. You're out then.
Well, that wasn't in part of the rules.
That wasn't in part of the rules. Part of the rules you need a bell.
I'll tell you what. I'll clap my hands instead of a bell. Hang on. I'll.
Okay, let's test it. Here's my bell. Let's hear your clap. Here we go.
Ding.
You know, you're the quiz mistress
of course,
person. Yeah. You don't need a bell. You just need our respect, and I can feel it slipping away, Claire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you the look. How's that?
I like your top, by the way. Not you, Gatford.
Oh, okay, fine.
Thank you.
I like that. Okay, here we go.
So, where does the phrase "the whole 9 yards" come from?
Golf.
No. Gatford.
By the way, happy birthday to Paul McCartney. He is my queen. 79 years old today. Gatford.
I'm going to have to admit, I don't know.
Okay.
The full thing is giving them the whole 9 yards during, I think it was the Second World War. Fighter pilots for the US, the lead bullets in the chain for the guns was 9 yards long.
Beautiful. Gatford, I'm going to ask you to hide the chat, please. I've hidden the chat because they are trying to.
I've not got chat open.
Okay. All right.
I'm just looking at Zoom. I'm not looking at.
By the way,
screen.
Claire, where can we ask? Not that I don't trust you, but where have you got this? Where have you got all of your information from? Because for all we know, you could be a liar.
You asked, and I'm giving. I just love those etymologies of phrases and words, just where they come from. So
if anyone else wants to join in the as a quiz person, not as a quizzer, then you're very, very, very welcome. I've just posted the Zoom link in the chat. Please don't show us any peens. We've already got at least 2 on display here. Okay, away we go. Let's have question number 2.
Where does the phrase "sleep tight" come from? Iain Lee.
When your mum would tuck you in so tight that you couldn't even roll over in your bed. And for kids now that have duvets, you've got no idea what I'm talking about. You haven't lived until you've slept.
I'm gonna give you a second guess because you're in the right area.
Can I steal?
No, you can't steal because Claire very kindly gave me a second guess.
Okay.
But the countdown clock is on.
Bed comes from bed.
Okay, Gatford, you're in.
It's from when the maternity people would give babies to their mothers. They would wrap them tight in swaddling.
Wow, he's absolutely wrong.
Yes.
No, she said wrong.
Wrong.
What?
It was all in the pause. You got just wait for it. Back in the day when we had no mattresses, we had beds and they were laced together with sisal rope, and after time that rope would sag. So there were big holes in the thing. You'd put a bit of wood in, and you'd wind it up, and you would tighten the bed.
Saggy rope and wood, all in the same sentence. I don't think there was ever a period when we didn't have mattresses. I don't believe that, but I'm not going to argue.
It was just a bed frame with rope strung between it.
Okay. Question that this is going very well so far. You said you'd destroy me, Gatford, and you haven't.
It's the last question.
Last question.
Where does the phrase "screws" come from?
What?
As in the police reference. The prison reference. Screws. Oh, Iain Lee.
Lock the prison doors.
Formal complaint. I clap first.
All right, away you go.
Oh, sorry, I was. Yes,
but if you start with the answer I just started with, you should be disqualified.
Let me just look at the replay for that. Yes, Gatford, you're in.
Thank you. So specifically, this is screws, as in within a prison.
Yes.
Flipping heck, man! Does that give you enough time to Google it?
No, my hands. I'll show you my hands. My hands are nowhere near a keyboard or a Siri device. Didn't think of that.
Can we have the answer, please?
Okay, I'm coming to that. It is to do with the fact that when the new prison guards were inducted to their job, their nameplates would be screwed to the wall.
Oh, she's done it again. No.
It was how they used to lock the prison doors. You used to have to screw them locked.
No. Do you give in?
I give in.
Okay, so that when they were into prison, before it was rehabilitation, it was crime and punishment, and they used to have what's called a pointless box, and in that box, there was a brass plate, on the outside a brass plate, and a handle went through it, and you would turn that, and there was a counter, right? Meaningful counter. Now, if you wanted to make that hard, you would get your screwdriver out, you would turn a little screw, and you'd bring those brass plates together to make it really hard to turn. And that's why they were called the screws.
Okay, Claire, get out.
It's not called my bluff.
Get out.
General knowledge,
Get out.
Not the derivation of things that
Derivation.
James O'Brien fascinates about on a Thursday.
Listen, the link is in the chat. Let's get a new quizmaster and we'll start properly. Let's start. That doesn't count to me. It doesn't count. None of that counts to me. Dave Dogface, what's your language in the chat, please? For goodness sakes, that doesn't count for me. I want a proper quiz right now. So someone come and join the quiz. We will. I tell you what to do. We will ask each other questions.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Yeah, I'm happy. Would you like me to go first?
Go first.
Okay. What is the capital city of El Salvador?
Capital cities are boring questions. Just my questions are going to be so much more entertaining. Let's get some quizzy music going.
Yeah.
Let's go to YouTube. This is going to be what a podcast this is going to be. So I'm going to put in quizzy copyright.
This is something that Matty might want to add onto his TLNA Best of the Year.
I think he might do actually, but cut your bits out. Copyright.
I don't think I want.
Copyright free music.
Doesn't
Quiz game show. That's a theme. Here we go. Oh, that's. Let me put quiz instead of quizzy. That might be slowing things down. Here we go. Let me put long because they're all really short. Hey, I tell you what I was watching the other day. Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, with John Leslie?
No, I think those ones have been destroyed. With Nicholas Campbell. And what's great, right? It's who was Nikki's glamorous dolly bird?
Was it Mel, the Northern lady?
Carol Smiley.
Oh, Smiley. I thought she was with John Leslie. I got that wrong.
And what she would do is here we go. That's good music. She would come down the stairs and do a twirl and then carry on walking down.
Was there ever any issues about her stumbling? Do you know?
No, I didn't see any. In the 2 episodes I watched, there was no stumbling. It was some show. And then... Right,
your sound's going.
What?
Your sound's gone. It's like it drained away.
Can you hear me?
No, you've gone really quiet.
Can you hear me? No. My microphone.
I can barely hear you. I can also lip read.
Okay, what has happened here? Okay, everybody, calm down. Could be a loose connection. It could be.
It certainly sounded like connection coming out.
I'm going to come out of your. No, I'm going to take that back immediately. Okay. Sabotage. That's a little bit better, but it's not. Is that better?
That is back to how it was.
That's how it's back to how it was. Okay. But the final answer in one of the things to win the car or the £4,000 or the trip to Hong Kong, it is still a bit quiet. Let me whack this up. Hang on. There we go. Now it's. Hello. Let me try. I wonder if Catherine's. Hello. Something's happened here.
Ooh.
This music makes it fun, though. Right? Gone completely. Okay. We're just going to have to make do with it quiet, guys. I don't know what you want me to... I can't... Let me just add another audio thing. We're having fun today, listening and laughing and playing away. It's such a happy time, we're all fine. Everybody's having such a great time. Gatford's here, full of good cheer. Iain's playing a silly game. Can't get his microphone to work, but everybody's having fun. One of the gang is on a speed awareness course. If he's caught doing this, he's gonna get his points at it and license taken away. Oh, yeah. Audio input capture. This music is awesome, right? Oh, baby, I love you so much.
About the best thing I've heard today.
Gonna sing my song to you. Everybody's gonna do what they wanna do. Making love in the afternoon. Everybody's feeling fine. Everybody's arriving on time. Everybody knows that this is gonna be a fun time. Oh yeah, it's life. Love and feeling fine. Wanna drink some wine with you, baby, and have a real good time. Staying at home or going out, I'm cool with either. Come on now, let's just make some love. Right, hang on. Can everybody just calm down a minute, please? Audio input capture.
Sanitizing the hands. Just a reminder to everybody. Keep
Audio.
washing those hands.
Please keep washing those hands. It is not over. It is not over. Audio input capture number 2 is on the same level. I don't know what I can do, guys. I don't know what I can do. Without switching the machine off, we're just going to have to do with this level, okay? We're just going to have to do with it. Can you cope with it, everybody? Oh.
This is more like a reggae version.
What's that going on over there? There's a man punching another man with a chair. And I think I should get involved, but I'm not. I'm gonna watch. He's kicking him in the balls. The other one's punching him in the eyes. Then a third man joins in and he swears. Naughty man, I wanna know what's going on. I'm wondering who's in the wrong. I wanna go over there, but I'm scared.
Rumble.
Now a fourth man has come along. He's got some nunchuckers and he's doing the thing that Bruce Lee did when he spins them under his arm. That's cool.
It's a rumble.
Here come the coppers now, pulling them off each other now. Not like that, you dirty cow. It's life in the world today. I blame. It's something's weird's happening with the sound. It's got this kind of strangulated effect on it. I think Pete is saying that my singing is good. No one is joining. Someone, can we get a quizmaster in, please?
I hate to do this to you, but I can only do a couple more minutes because I've got to go back to work.
Here we go! Here we go! Here we go! Here we go. Gatford's getting kinda scared. He knows I'm gonna beat his butt cheeks, but he is making up excuses to go. He's gonna cry real soon. We know he hasn't got a job. We know he's got a big old gob coming into the chat saying that he's better than me. He's not. Now I know what they were fighting for, because one said Gatford could beat me, but the other three said that is bullshine, and they're right. Gatford cannot beat me in a quiz. Cannot beat me in a quiz. He cannot beat me in a quiz.
That's the one.
And his face is full of cheese. Quitford. Okay. Here we go. We have a quick. Everyone, Google Doctor Who, because we are joined.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
My God, I thought it was going to be Pete joining us, but instead it's his evil brother, his evil twin.
Good morning.
My word.
Good evening. Good morning to you, sir. Lovely to see you. I love your haircut. I love your beard. Do you have some questions for us? Shut up, Gatford.
I do have.
I was going to say, you're kind of like creeping up to the quizmaster there. Stop it.
I'm showing respect to my betters.
I do have some questions. They're taken from metro.co.uk, so they could be wrong.
Okay.
But let's get going.
Andy says Baldford.
No, that's
not quite.
No.
It's a number 3.
Crew Cutford, but not Baldford.
Yeah. Right. What is the name of the song that is the theme tune to The Office UK version?
What?
Excuse me. Who belled first? Who belled or clapped first?
Say your names, guys. Say your names.
Well,
You know
hello,
them.
my name is.
We
You
have
know
an
us.
established bell clap situation.
Who? Couldn't you hear that?
I can hear it now.
Right.
I didn't hear it because I was clapping.
Okay. It's by the Stereophonics. It's a cover version. It's the Stereophonics cover version of the great song Handbags and the Glad Rags. Handbags and Glad Rags.
No.
Handbags.
Sorry,
and,
I'm I'm going to have to
Handbags
diss
and
them out
glad
of that.
rags. Handbags and glad rags. No "the" in it. Handbags and glad rags.
All right. Yeah.
There's no,
I'll
I was
take it.
singing it. Thank you. 1-0 to me. Gatford, up your game, buddy.
Yep.
Question 2.
Oh, by the way,
In
Amy's
which-
about to join us, so expect the whole stream to go down.
Good morning, Amy.
Can you concentrate on the quiz and not chatting up Amy, please?
She's the Carol Smiley of this. She's going to do a twirl in a minute. We can't hear you, Amy.
What?
Because your microphone's
go.
not working, I don't think.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
We can't hear you, but don't blaspheme on stream.
Please.
So question 2. In which year did Twitter launch? Iain.
2000
Whoa, hold on a minute.
What do you mean, hold on a minute?
I clearly clapped first.
2010.
I heard the bell.
Well, Ian's wrong anyway. So Gatford.
2008.
Gatford's wrong as well. No points.
Me.
Okay, Amy wants to join the quiz. we have
Amy!
to, because of sexist laws, we have to have one girl in. We kind of need a person of colour, if I'm completely honest. It's looking a little bit like GB News. But, Amy,
I'm going to go with 2004.
your microphone isn't working, Amy. We can't hear you.
Amy's wrong as well. It's 2006.
What a boring question.
I disagree. I think that was quite interesting.
Okay, all right.
Oh, God. I mean, number 3. What type of car does Doc Brown use as a time machine in Back to the Future?
A
That was
DeLorean.
definitely Ian.
A DeLorean.
DeLorean, yeah.
Thank you. Amy, what are you going to do to attract our attention, please?
Careful.
What am I trying to do?
Well, I don't know. It's a quiz. Jim, what are you doing here, mate?
You just let me in.
Okay.
Is there a quiz? I'll join a quiz. I thought it was a mod meeting from what I saw on the screen.
I'm
Oh no,
gonna-
Gatford's not a mod. Are you?
Easy.
I'm going
Easy.
to play an advert for the pots. The
I
pots
am
are getting
unusual.
an advert, right? So you can join. You can join the quiz, Jim. But I need to know from both you and Amy what your attention, what you're going to do to get attention from us.
Well, I think Amy's me worked quite well. So
Okay, great. Jimbo.
I'm in.
So just say my channel name. Will that work?
Bit dull.
I can wave. Speed of light's faster than sound. Does that work?
Yeah, but how will Pete see that?
Is he not looking at the screen?
I don't know. It needs to be
not if I
audio.
can help it.
I'll bang the desk. Is that...
That sounds a little
Over
bit
there.
like my clap, though.
Your clap. We haven't heard your clap yet, Gatford.
Give us a tune, Jim.
No. I'll say ping. Does that work? Ping.
Say ping. Ping.
There
Say
you go.
pingu.
Yeah.
Say pingu.
Pingu.
But
Okay.
in his voice.
No, God.
I hope someone in chat's keeping track of the scores.
I'm
Yeah,
keeping
Ian.
track. I've got a whiteboard here. So far, it's
Okay.
2-0 to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds about right.
So it's now 2-0.
Yeah, correct, sir. Correct.
Yeah.
Tell you what,
The
let's start
question
again.
4.
Let's start again. This is how
Yeah.
confident I am. We're starting again. It's 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, that won't come back to haunt us, will it, when you say it's fixed because you got the first 2? But carry on, let's go.
It won't come back. My fist will come back to haunt you in a minute.
The question 1, but it's actually question 4. In which seaside town was Faulty Towers set? That was the bell.
Torquay. Or Torquay.
Yeah, it was Torquay. Question 5. What's the name of the lead singer of Welsh rock band Stereophonics? That's the bell again.
Stuart Hall.
It's not Stuart Hall. Go on, Gatford.
It's Kelly Jones.
Kelly Jones, yeah. 1
Okay,
point for Gatford.
but you get a point for that, but you lose our respect for liking
I didn't say I
SHIT
liked them.
music.
I didn't say I liked them. I just
By
have
the way,
knowledge.
Pete, second Stereophonics question there.
Is it their birthday?
Well, no, technically the first one was a big George Webley question.
Okay, all right.
Question 6. No, question 3. I mean, just the next question.
Okay.
What is the capital city of Argentina?
Pingu.
That was Gatford.
Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires.
Or Buenos
What?
Aires.
What
Buenos
does he say again? Say it again.
Gatford went
Buenos Aires.
really area.
Say it again, Gatford.
Buenos Aires.
Say what you said. Say what you said.
I said Buenos Aires. I was trying to put a bit of Spanish into it.
Buenos Aires.
Buenos. See, it's over to you, Pete. I don't know what you think.
I'm going to give it to Gatford, but
just because he's your brother.
Just because he's my brother, yeah.
Okay.
We haven't established the relationships in the Ford family.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Okay. Amy, don't forget you're playing.
Yeah, I'm just know the answer to.
Sorry, and I wonder if you could read out the scores at the moment.
No, can't at the moment. It's not interrupt the flow.
Okay.
At which venue is the British Grand Prix held? That was a bell.
Silverstone.
Silverstone, yep.
Yeah, I'll read out the scores. It's 2 to me, 0 to Amy, 0 to Jimbo.
And Gatford?
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Which side of the road do people drive on in Australia?
Me.
That was definitely a bell, I'm afraid.
They drive on the left.
That's right, 50-50 chance, and it was the left.
I love that.
I wasn't sure of the answer, so I thought I'd wait.
Please don't say 50-50 chance, because that demeans my correct answer. That wasn't a guess.
Well,
it's a British colony. They're going to drive on the same side as us.
I'm sorry, we've not all been on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
I know you haven't, so pay me some respect. Also, here's an interesting fact: more percentage of the world drives on the left than on the right.
True.
That's because we conquered them all.
Yes, we beat them into submission.
And also, Iain being
if you want to celebrate that,
Iain being on a Celebrity doesn't really make him a quiz person. Winning Mastermind probably does.
Thank you, buddy.
But then some of us have also been on quiz.
Amy's
programs.
getting bored, guys. So
yeah, but wasn't I'm a Celebrity in Australia?
Yeah, but he didn't drive.
Yeah.
He was driven.
Do you remember about 5 minutes?
He was driven everywhere.
When Gatford said that in 2 minutes he had to go to work.
I've extended.
Right,
I've extended my break.
Which was the first James Bond film to feature Roger Moore in the title role?
Gatford, clap first. Go on, answer it.
On Her Majesty, A View to a Kill.
No. Bell.
Live and let die.
It was Live and Let Die.
Rubbish at Bond.
Which English scientist and atheist and prick wrote the best-selling 2006 book, The God Delusion?
Dawkins.
Who, sorry?
Dawkins.
Well, I clapped and you didn't ring your bell.
I did ring the bell.
Do you have a first name for Dawkins?
Yes, I do.
Richard. It is Richard.
Is he reading the chat? Is he reading the chat?
I'm not reading the chat. The chat don't know it. The chat thick.
And the clue was in the title. He said he was a dick.
Pete gave a big clue there by saying he was a dick.
Exactly.
So the clue was open to everyone. Amy,
I think I said he was a prick, didn't I?
Can we just test Amy's microphone, please?
Oh, this.
The shade.
It's working. I will. I'm going to sit. I'm going to ring the bell with my hands behind my head.
Talent.
No, all I mean is I'm going to bring my so my hand has got further to go. That's how. Not with my.
Clearly, what you meant.
This is with these podcasts from now on are going to be family friendly, safe for work. So please.
Okay. Which theme park features a ride called the Blue Barnacle? I'm afraid that was Iain.
Chessington.
It is Chessington World War. I mean,
Amen.
I deliberately threw that one in to try and give Amy a point. But
names. Here's a quiz question. Are you called Amy?
Amy.
No.
Point for Gatford.
Amy.
Right, Lima's a native to which island?
Bingo.
That was
Madagascar.
Jim.
Madagascar.
It is Madagascar.
Jim
In
comes
which
onto the board.
In which sport could you win the Davis Cup?
Pingy.
That was a clap.
Davis Cup is tennis.
Davis Cup is tennis, giving yourself a bit of thinking time, like the eggheads. I like it.
Indeed. Yep. No,
which English county has the longest coastline?
Pingy.
That was a clap.
I think that was a Pingu.
Dorset.
It was a clap then a Pingu.
Okay.
Dorset.
No, Pingu.
Cornwall.
Cornwall is correct.
Oh, of course.
Everything's
Very
playful.
wiggly.
Very wiggly.
Oh, in what year did the Beatles split up? That was a bell.
1970.
1970.
I said
If you want to know what year they split up legally, it's different. But you okay? 1970. Okay.
Which UK high street store went into administration on November 26th? I heard the bell first.
Oh, me.
It was Woolworths. Which London Underground line has the most stations? That was Clapford.
The Central line.
Wrong.
Amy was next.
Amy?
Oh, the Victoria line.
Also wrong.
Bingo.
The District line.
It's the District line. Yep. With 60 stations, apparently.
Okay, this is the final question.
Oh,
And-
convenient.
Final question.
I tell you what, it's 9 to me, 2 to the Ford brothers, and 0 to Amy. Let's put it all on this. We put it all on this. Whoever gets this question right wins the first annual TLNA quiz, sexy quiz.
Okay. Which member of McFly previously auditioned for Busted?
Bingo.
It was not Pingu.
It was.
Tom Fletcher.
Sorry.
Say that again. We didn't hear that. Jim, can you say that again? Jim.
Sorry, Jim. It wasn't Pingu. Amy?
Tom Fletcher.
I think it was Amy. Amy actually got in there first.
Okay, so
Amy,
this is your big. If you get this right, you win. Amy.
Oh.
Amy's gone. This is terrible. Gatford was next. Gatford.
Yeah. Right, it's Tom Fletcher. I win.
Get off my stream, you piece of trash. Get off my stream. I had 9 points. Don't forget, I also had 2 points at the start that I forfeited. So I had 11 points. So I beat everybody. I destroyed everybody. Don't be a D, guys. 0203286. I'm enjoying. Let's have Skype open. But I'm enjoying. Oh! Hello, Claire. Oh, hang on. Hello, Claire. I don't know why it's not answering. Claire. I do not know why it's. Oh, Gatford's still on pause. In Skype. Hello, Gatford. Okay. 0203 286 6370 is the telephone number. People are saying the gaming. We were going to do a promoted gaming stream, and I've decided not to do it. Because, and I'll tell you why. Because it was a gambling game. It involved gambling. Yes, well, me and Katherine were set to make, maybe £800 each. If we did really well, we'd have made about 1,200 quid each, 1,500 quid each. But it sat slightly uncomfortably with me doing a gambling thing when we talk so much about addiction and stuff here. And I meditated this morning. I sat by the back door open, and I meditated because there's a lot of stress going on. Andy Partridge has just emailed me. That's my life at the moment. And I meditated, and the answer. Okay, Andy Partridge is going to call me. And I meditated on it. I didn't meditate on that. I just meditated. And then a voice from the universe said, nah, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. So we're not doing that. So that's not happening. But you should probably give us like £2,000 because of us making decisions like that. 0203 286 6370. Some good news. I think I have a placement for my counselling training at a hospice. I think I have it. The person I spoke to has to check with their boss. But the person I spoke to said these words. I really want you. Now imagine feeling really low and being in a very low place. I don't know why this audio is so pony. I wonder if I can't. I don't know why this audio is so pony anyway. But imagine being in a low place and then you get a phone call and someone says, I really want you. I nearly called the Samaritans yesterday. I was no, not yesterday, Wednesday. I was feeling so anxious and so full of fear and worried around money and work, a lot of resentment around not being able to get a radio gig. And I was just building up, and I've had a knot in my stomach for 5 days, imagine. So there was fear around work. There is also fear about these new meds I'm on. There's a chance I might have to change them because my white blood cells are down, and it could be because of these new meds I'm on. So there's fear around that kind of stuff. So I was full of goddamn anxiety, and I'm still full of goddamn anxiety, and I don't quite know the way to overcome that. Don't know how to overcome that. The way to overcome it will be to get a job. I'm in a real strange position because I did have a therapy session today, and it was kind of powerful. But one of the things that I've known for ages, and I've probably said it to you, is I hated working in the radio. I hated it, right? And for 3 of the 4 years I was at talkRADIO, I kept saying, I'm going to leave. I hope they don't renew my contract this year. And then one year they didn't, and I was heartbroken. But I have defined myself by work forever, and now I don't really have work. I'm finding it hard to define myself. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get work in radio, even though I don't really want to work in radio. But what else am I going to do? And I have been considering getting a, in inverted commas, proper job, a real job, a normal job. But I don't know what I could do. Certainly can't be a paid counsellor for 2 or 3 years. If I decide I want to do that. I still haven't completely decided I want to do that. But what can I do? I can't. I mean, I could go and work in Tesco. Not to demean anybody that works in Tesco. I could go and do that. However, here's something I can say to you lot, because you lot will get it. Most of you lot will get it. There is an ego thing there, because as some of you will know, I used to be a little bit famous. So the thought of doing a job that is not in show business, and that people could go, you're the strawberry guy, right? I had someone say it to me the other day, taking my kids swimming. And we were late, so we had to park and then run. And as we were running, the guy in the car park attendant said, hey, you're the strawberry guy, right? So there is, by the way, we lost another subscriber on Patreon. I think we might have lost 2, actually. We might be down to 598. We lost 3. We're down to 598. What is going on there? We lost 3 patrons? So I used to be a little bit famous. So doing a job where people go, oh, didn't you used to be the strawberry guy? Didn't you used to be the strawberry guy? I would find that hard. I'm sorry to say, but I imagine certain tabloid newspapers would be all over that. Yeah, I think they probably would. I don't care. I've never won for. I'm never one for calling out. Maybe I have. I might have done in the past. Perhaps, I don't know. For calling out people that were celebrities and then end up working in a. 598. What happened there? We lost 3 and ended up working in a proper world. You don't need qualifications to teach at further education colleges, as far as I remember. Could you look at teaching media studies? Do you not need qualifications? Let me speak to my friend Jeff. Jeff knows these things. Jeff knows these things. I don't know. It's a worrying. Hey, I get it. I get it, guys. It's a worrying time for everybody. It's a worrying time for everybody. So please, I get it. Don't think for a second I don't. But all I can talk about is my experience. You know that, right? I can't talk about your experience unless you call in, and I can talk about it. All I can talk about is my experience, and I'm scared. I am scared. Hazy says Vox Pops. Yeah, how do I make money from that? We're going to go and do some Vox Pops on Monday. Me and Gingerbeard Mark, we're going to go to the anti-lockdown. There's an anti-lockdown protest. I'm going to unban It's a cheeky rascal as well. I'm going to unban It's a cheeky rascal. So I don't know what's going to happen, guys. I don't know. I'm scared, man. I tell you that. I'm freaking out here, guys. I'm freaking out. I wonder if Boyley's around. Let me WhatsApper. Are you around? Hello? Who's there? Who's there? Oh, that's that. That just fell off. I am brilliant. Oh, I'm brilliant at Voxes. I'm nervous about going to an anti-lockdown rally after seeing that guy getting chased. The Nick, what was it? Nick someone getting chased. I'm worried about that. Oh, Dave, I missed your call. I'm calling you back right now. And I'm nervous about doing Vox Pops because I haven't done Vox Pops for years, and it terrifies. I didn't used to enjoy doing Vox Pops. Could be paranormal investigator. That's not a bad idea. Something's going on with my Skype. Something's going on with this whole computer. Why are you going down to an anti-lockdown rally? I did just say. I know what you're thinking, but I did just say. Let me close Skype and then let's open it again. I think Catherine's asleep. End that. Whoa. Let's end that. Skype, let's get Skype up again. Let's do this. You did it in New York. It came back as soon as you started it. I don't know what that means, but that's... maybe I need to delete that conversation. Now let's try it. My Skype isn't working. Oh, we did. Yeah, we did when me and Catherine went to New York. Dave, do you want to try calling me? Because my Skype isn't working. Follow your passions. I think music. How do I make money out of that? That's the question. Let's end that meeting. Why is my Skype not working? Dave, I bet you're trying to call me and it's not working your end. Let's play an advert for the pots. There we go. Want to do a show? I'm online right now. This is without Skype. I got a feeling I'm going to switch off and switch on again, and that will missed call from Dave, and yet it didn't show up, Dave. Missed call from Dave, and it didn't show up. What does that tell us? It tells us that something is not quite... Dave Scott is calling in. He won't answer. It won't answer, Dave. Yeah, it won't answer. I can see you calling. Look, this is what I'm seeing, guys. This is what I'm seeing, and it just won't answer. It just won't answer. We may have to stop, turn off the computer, and begin again. We're going to stop the computer. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Bear with. We're a little bit louder. It's a little bit louder. There we go. Hello. We're a little bit louder. Welcome. Skype should work. I'm going to call. We're back. We're back in business, baby. This is it. This is what I live for. You might not be able to hear this, though. There we go. Dave, we're back in business, baby.
Hello.
We're back in business. The computer... Here's the thing, and you'll understand this. The mainstream media does not want this to be broadcast. And yeah, okay, sure, hashtag TLNA fails is trending, right? Okay, we've had a few technical problems. And I would ask everybody watching, please, this is a startup company. We're a startup business. We're new. Please stop sending in fake names. We're going to put a system of checks in place, but we're just not at that stage yet. So please, I'm asking you, grow up. Stop sending in fake names. Dave is here joining us on the line today. Dave.
Hi. Am I here?
You are here?
Good.
You are here.
Just more technical files. No, you were obviously talking about a inverted commas proper job. Can I validate an assumption that you'd probably want to do that? You'd be doing that alongside of anything you were doing for the Patreon, because
yes.
I mean, I know you haven't worked outside of media, but as long as you're not assuming you could cover off the Patreon costs from, for example, working in Tesco.
No, it would be a mixture of both. Yeah. It would be a mixture of both. But I don't know I don't know, Dave. I don't know what to do. I don't know where I am. I mean, there's 2 areas over there. That's fine. I don't know. I don't know what I am or what to do. I'm scared, Dave.
And I guess because of, so there's 2 areas to go down. There's either, and again, not, as you said, not disparaging anyone. There's the jobs that, you could just walk into, or there's stuff that does use your experience. As you say, I know you've been reaching out to the Radio Academy and stuff. Yeah. Obviously, one of those is going to be more fulfilling than the other, but will be harder to get into.
Yeah.
But also, I guess if you want to keep the Patreon stuff going, you also need to think about your time. Do you want something that is more flexible, easier to get into, but more flexible, so then you can continue to do the shows and all of that kind of stuff? In which case, working in a shop might not be the worst thing. Although, as you say, there is the, for want of a better word, the ego part of it.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. That scares the hell out of me. Yeah, you're the guy. Yeah, you're the strawberry guy, right?
I mean, it would be your luck that you ended up packing the strawberries. You could put that on the CV, actually.
Strawberry expert, strawberry thief.
Experience with strawberries.
Yeah, maybe I could do that.
Although you did steal them, so don't put that on there, because then people might think you'll steal the strawberries.
I don't know, man. It's I don't know. It's a tough old. It's a quandary, and it's really getting to me, and the stress is getting to me, and it's. I'm just going to put a Zoom link in the chat, because I've invited Katherine to join us. She's going to join us via Zoom, and if you want to come in, everybody, you're very welcome. But Pete says, just put on a French accent whenever you're at work. No, it is not me. I don't know, man. I need a source of income. I don't think Patreon's going to kick it. I think we will get a bit of an upflux when we go behind the paywall, but it's not going to be enough. I don't know. 23 years of doing this stuff and coming to a real realization that I think the last year has been a waste of time. I think it's been a waste of time. We've not, we've helped some people and all of that stuff.
I was going to say, it depends what your outcome and what you're measuring that waste of time on. Because for me, it wasn't. Because I wouldn't know you. I wouldn't know. Actually, half the people, maybe more, that I've spoken to today, by my phone or Twitter or whatever, I wouldn't have known if you hadn't have done these shows.
Yeah.
I wasn't listening to talkRADIO. As I said before, I was aware of you from Three Counties, but it was Twitch that got me into it. So it wasn't a waste of time for me. And, I know that's just me. And, obviously you've got the financial measure and stuff. But, if you can take something from that, in that, there are multiple factors to it. And certainly, there has a lot of good has come from it.
Dave, should we get Katherine Boyle on the stream?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang up on you. I'm gonna close the Skype, and I'm gonna bring in ladles and jelly spoons. Would you please? And then there's a name that I don't recognise, which could be a peen. Katherine. Oh, look, there's my queen. There's my queen. Can it hear you? Now there's a name there that I don't recognise. So Katherine, you might see a peen. We're going to
peen.
There's a name I don't recognise, so we're just going to take that. Okay. I don't recognise this name, so I'm just. Helen, could you just say a word to me to prove that you are not stock footage of a man who's about to show us a peen? There we go. It's a real human being. I can put you on the screen. I was worried.
Can I go now? Actually, sorry, I didn't. Can I go?
Yeah, of course you can go.
Can I go?
Yeah, of course you can go.
Okay, thanks.
That was something I said.
What happened there?
I think it was your fault.
What did I do? Well, I think Helen was scared of being on the screen, but do we know her? It's not like one of my... I didn't have a proper Zoom meeting booked in, did I, for 11:25?
I don't know, baby.
That was my concern, that was a real human being, and I had an actual Zoom meeting booked in. Gaz says, without the last year, I'd certainly have a lot less T-shirts. That's true. That's true.
Fewer.
Must have joined by accident. Okay. Hello, Claire. You're muted, Claire. Maybe I have to ask you to unmute. Maybe I have to... There we are. I have asked you to unmute. Here we go. Unmute. Yeah. Must have joined by accident, says Paris Dev. I nearly did. How can you accidentally click on a Zoom?
Because it says, "Are you sure?" when you're joining. So...
Does it say that?
Uh-huh.
I think I got rid of that on mine. I think it just takes me in, and we just go in. What are you doing, Katherine?
I'm putting my face on.
What, Yati?
Because I had gone back to bed, and I wasn't expecting an audience with you guys, or an audience at all today.
I'm just thinking we can do the show right now. Right, I'm just going to come off this because there are people. I remember the Peen guy likes to use real names of our people. David, can you just say something? Okay. It's Umpa. Could you just say something so that we know you're a real human being? I'm going to ask you to unmute. It's Umpa. I need you to unmute. Can you say something? I'm so nervy that Peen guy is going to come in.
You're Peenanoid.
Pingu's going to come in. I'm thinking we can do the show now, Katherine.
I'm doing it. This is a Get Ready With Me. They're very popular on YouTube.
Oh yeah, do it. Put in. Oh God. Hello, Kate. Look at this. We got people want to join in and do it. Hello, everybody. You missed the quiz where I beat the Pots. I decided we can call. By the way, Katherine, you'd be pleased to know we're down to 598 patrons.
Yeah, strange business, isn't it?
But I decided we can call the non-subs Pots or Potsies, pieces of trash.
Oh, yeah.
So we can... Dave has got his own suggestion. Dave?
I like Patrioffs.
Patrioffs?
What if you're not a Twitch subscriber, but you are a Patreon subscriber?
Well, the Twitch thing is different. The Twitch thing is not our prime concern. So if you're a Patreon... You are not a pot or a Patreon. You are neither of those things. You are you are a friend of the show. And we have nothing but love and respect from the show to you. I have to clarify again. We are not your friends. We're
friendly.
Hey, Katherine, my bin has got maggots crawling out of it.
Yeah, that happens because it's hot.
I put a cooked chicken in there.
Well, that'll do.
Did you cook it especially to put in the bin?
No,
that feels wasteful.
But I didn't realise it was so big when I bought it, and so I put it in the bin. But then, what else are you supposed to do with it?
You keep it in the fridge until bin day.
But then the maggots would be in. Well, where did the maggots come from?
They were saying because it got hot.
But how would they get in there?
A fly would lay eggs, I think.
How would the fly get in the bin? Like, they open up the lid, like in a cartoon. Loads of them make the shape fly into the shape of a hand and then lift it up. And all of their mates go in. Is that what happens?
They have a special crew, yeah.
Umpa. I'm going to stick it up your jumper in a minute. How you doing?
You can try to stick out my jumper, but no, I'd rather you didn't.
Okay, well, that's fine. Listen, consensual up jumper sticking. If it's not consensual, I ain't interested in it. So please don't think that for a second. I wouldn't do that for a second. How you doing, man?
No, I'm doing all right. I'm a bit sad that you guys are going through some rough stuff at the minute, but You helped us all through rough stuff as well, but that don't help pay the bills, man.
No, it's. I'm so anxious at the moment. Kath knows this. I'm so anxious. I nearly called the Samaritans on Wednesday, just not because I was suicidal. Don't think that for a second, and I should have made that clear earlier. But just because it was just building up and building up and building up, and I don't really have an outlet for it. I didn't in the end, but it was certainly I came very close to it. And it's scary, right, Katherine? Hello.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
If you're going to do that, can you do that so that we can see it? Otherwise, we won't get likes.
I'm applying my eyeliner. This is a very tricky time, so I can't.
Are you wearing a silk kimono?
Anyone. It's not silk. It's my Frida Kahlo kimono.
That brush looks like one of mine. I mean, I could paint along, but I've only got acrylic paint, so.
It's good for straight lines. This one. This is a very handy tip. If you're doing eyeliner, this is what you want, Dave. So.
Or just I might try these.
Tell Katherine she's got hairs in her ear.
You tell her.
No, I'm not telling her.
I'm scary.
No, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Listen, I'm Umpa. It's over to you.
Oh, this has got to be awkward.
You brought it up.
I know.
What's the matter?
With this awkward stuff than I am.
He said you got hairs in your ear.
Hairs in my ear. Have I?
Made you look low, didn't it?
No.
Umpa. We're going to go back to that jumper in a minute. That's outrageous. That's my queen that you're talking. Lots of people, Katherine, now doing the face replace app and making various queens.
I know, quite rightly too. It's about time, isn't it? That technology caught up with the vibe.
Yeah, well, exactly. You are my queen.
Yeah.
And I bow down to no one apart from you.
Yep.
How are you doing, Boiler? You're looking upbeat.
I'm sleeping a lot better, which is great.
Yes.
It's not so hot today, so it's all good. It's all good in the
today.
hood.
I love it. Although that means my youngest son's cricket is cancelled. I was going to go and see Jimbo play some cricket.
But you still got them tonight, right?
Got them tonight.
You
and
can
we're
play
going to go
indoors.
Sorry.
Play indoors.
Could do. We're going to go. He's going for a hair. I'm taking him for a haircut either tonight or tomorrow. Probably tonight. Probably tomorrow. Then we got Peter Rabbit 2.
Nice.
And then I managed, even though I left it late, I managed to book a roast dinner at that nice pub for 3:00 on Father's Day. Oh yeah, but you're always in like your PJs and stuff. Michael, I'm going to ask you to say something to prove that you're a live human being, please. He's alive. Okay, we just have to be so careful.
The problem now is the guy making the videos will make a video of someone saying, I am saying something to prove I'm not the ping guy. And
that's true. Yeah, Cherry Peapot says you should go to the Thai barber for your haircuts. That's the man you will be divorcing soon. But I don't know where he lives. He lives miles away. So I've found a great haircut barber, a hairdresser, a barber's, and I should be going to them probably tomorrow. Actually, probably be too late to know. Elite Gundog says, so it's true, women can multitask best. And the crying with laughter emoji. Wow. Here's the thing. None of us guys, and there are some guys here, none of us guys, we're just sat here chatting. You've not put our multitasking skills to the test. So Elite Gundog, I'll ask you to withdraw that comment. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Oh, I'm okay.
Okay. Okay. Now, how are you really?
I'm kind of in a similar situation to you. I need to sort out a job and I'm bored of my career. I need to earn some money. I don't like what I do. You know all this stuff from I'm not a grown-up group, or most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm up and down.
Mate, could we start a business together?
Yeah. I've got an idea for a few, but I don't want to do any of them.
No, I know what you mean. I'm so envious of the rich. I would love to be rich and not... You would imagine being rich, you wouldn't have a care in the world. Everything would be wonderful. I'm joking, of course, but why is that showing on there? Hang on a minute, let's move that out of the way.
It's funny you say that, because I used to grow up and say, I never want to be one of those people that wins the lottery, because I always feel like the journey is the point to something, not the goal.
Yeah.
And now I'm at a point where I'm like, screw it.
Just give me the
I
goal.
just want to win the lottery.
Give me the goddamn goal, please. I just want to. I'm wondering why that logo is there. Let me just get rid of that. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with. I'm done. I just want to. Can I not? I'm 48. Can I not just stop now? Haven't we done enough of this? Living inside the capitalist society. Katherine, can we just check that you've got downstairs clothes on? I mean, downstairs. It's not like that GB News guy showing his bum. You've got a tea towel on.
Pajamas.
Jeez. All right. Come on, let's back away. Let's back away from that. Look at the grin on Itzumpa's face. Look, he's loving that. What is that bit of? What's that? Oh, it's a finger. I worried, Itzumpa. There was just like a bit of kind of flesh by the. I thought there was some flesh by then. We couldn't make out it was a finger, so we're good. This is the shows from now on are family friendly. They are SFWs from now on.
The pee-free zone.
No more vulgarity. There's Willow. Does she know that she's getting a brother and a sister next weekend? Oh.
I think she may have heard tell. She doesn't look impressed, but that is.
Is that why she's not happy?
Yeah. Katifa is here. Good day to you, Katifa.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Is there anything you'd like to bring to this pity party? No, it's not pity party. We should. I mean, we do some. I was going to say we should do a show where it is a pity party, but actually we do that quite often. Katifa, how are you?
I'm all right.
Okay, everyone's doing it. Okay, but
I'm
how
so
are you?
used to. I've had years of that where you turn up at work every day and they go, "Good morning, how are you?" "Yeah, I'm fine." Yeah. And it's like, I'll just go and sit at my desk. I want to cry. Thank you. I've years of expert knowledge at lying, basically.
Yeah.
Mostly through, that was like a pain-related thing because I'd just be getting in an agony every morning and be like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm not. Shouldn't be here, but never mind.
So, can we ask what is going on?
No, that way I'm sort of fine now because I work from home. I can pace myself, and I am struggling with something else. I'm developing all sorts of problems. My shoulders me right now, but we'll get it sorted out.
Okay.
I've got my lovely new limited edition T-shirt. We'll show you.
Hey, look, the balcony shirt's rainbow T-shirt.
Yeah, it's very soft.
That guy's coining it.
Yeah.
That guy. Lovely. Indigo Spiral says, I genuinely worked with an older man who was called Michael Hunt. His parents were either very innocent or they wanted to toughen up. I know a woman who her first name was Jenny and she married a guy whose last name was Taylor.
Yeah.
And
my friend works for a Lord Richard Head.
There you go. I've mentioned before I used to go to school with a girl called Fiona King and her brother was called Wayne. These things happen. And because of the irresponsible idiots writing into GB News, those people will now never legitimately get to say the racist things they want to say.
They've been cancelled, pre-cancelled.
They've been cancelled by the people that have tried to ruin GB News. Itzumpa has left. I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
He's gone to phone up GB News.
He's gone to phone up GB News. I know that, but Pete makes a good point in the Discord. And if you're listening and you're not in the Discord, get in there. And if you're a Patreon, there's a special section for you in there. So get in there. Pete makes a good point that talking about GB News is what they want. Whether it's fails or successes, it is what they want. The more people, there's someone posted an article which I didn't actually read, but I kind of got the vibe of it just from 6 words. That it's more about reach. Things are more about reach now than actual viewing numbers.
I don't know.
Every time that they are retweeted, their reach and their awareness grows. And also, if it fails in 3 months, they can come back we were cancelled by the woke media. They've always got that get out.
I don't know. The way they reacted to people not wanting to advertise with them suggests that that's their main source of revenue, right? They've clearly not spent any money on staffing.
No.
Clearly not.
They spent
behind the
on
scenes
talent, inverted commas, talent.
Well, a lot of the talent and the behind the scenes, because the errors are, it's like watching a student production, right?
Yeah.
Because I think it probably is pretty much that.
Well, we know a couple of people that have gone to produce there.
Yeah.
Who
And there
crap.
were people who were pretty green who had been built up to think that they were ready for that. And
one of my former producers works there, Agent Chris. That broke my heart.
Well, I wasn't referring to him, of course.
No, I know. But also to get they would have offered Simon McCoy a lot of money to have left the BBC. Because he was quite high up there in terms of news presenters. So they would have offered him freedom to say what he wanted, which he wouldn't have had at the BBC, but also quite a lot of money. They would have offered Wootton a lot of money to have left Talk Radio.
Yeah. But it's a bedazzled deal, though, isn't it? Oh, you want this? You're going to get it. Well done and welcome. Have the money. Was that what it was all about?
But I am starting to go on.
I was going to say I can't think that those people are satisfied with what's going on at the moment. It must be humiliating.
Well, I mean, you remember how angry we would get at the start and the entire run of Talk Radio with the technical issues, some of which became very obvious on air. Quite a few didn't, but there was we constantly had to battle to get the phones to work because we were the only show that was getting phone calls. And it was a late night show, so they wouldn't bother to get the phones to work.
No, exactly. And John Holmes was saying the same thing. There was very much emphasis on the breakfast show. And that is the case in a lot of places, admittedly. But then everyone just was, I don't know whether the breakfast show they might argue that they didn't get the attention that they needed either. I don't know. But it did feel like everyone kind of went off on a lunch break for the rest of the day.
Do you feel that it's getting towards sort of clickbait, Tally? Going back to your point, Ian, I think it was Oscar Wilde, the person who said there's no such thing as bad publicity, or was it the worst? That's it. The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about.
Yeah, but if the aim is advertising, no one's going to advertise with them.
But here's the thing: I think some of those companies that have withdrawn. I was reading the IKEA statement, and IKEA don't say we're never going to advertise them again. They just said we didn't know we were advertising. We don't know enough about the station to know whether we want to continue. So we've pulled it for now. And they're in a really tough position. They've got to weigh up how many people are not going to use them because they're not advertising there, and how many people would not use them if they were advertising there. IKEA, I suspect it will weigh down in favour of the people that don't want them to advertise. With some of the other, like beer products and stuff, it's a harder equation to make. And none of them, I don't think, have said we're never going to advertise. We need to get more information.
I think
how do people like Katie Hopkins, for instance, how do they make money? Because no one would want to align to her.
They don't anymore.
Well, she went. I don't know if she went bankrupt, but she had to pay Thingy Bob huge libel payout of like several hundreds thousands of pounds. So she doesn't. But I mean, she when she was at LBC, and she would get money to go and be paid and do stuff in America. A lot of the extreme right wings now, and Katherine, you know exactly who I'm thinking of, and I've had more conversation with someone else involved in that story who's actually, I'm starting to get the vibe, is a little bit scared.
Yeah.
They're saying pay me directly because I'm the only one that's going to give you the truth. I'm outside of the MSM. And so there are, if you look at a lot of the right wing people, including Robinson, but other kind of media people, they're going pay me directly.
Yeah.
Pay me directly, and I will tell you the truth.
So reading between the lines, that suggests to me that they don't want to rely on advertising because they can't.
In terms of GB News, I don't know. I think, I am starting to buy into the mantra. By the way, happy birthday to Paul McCartney, 79 years old. I freaking love that man. I am starting to buy into the thing, and I know it's a horrible line, go woke, go broke. Because you and I can't get a job. We could have got a job if we'd have on Talk Radio, if we'd have played that game. We could have got a job. We could have still been there, but we didn't, and that's not within our psyche to do it. But the go woke, go broke, I kind of starting to buy it a little bit, I think. But it's a pendulum, and it will swing back. But I think we've got like 10 or 15 years of it swinging right, and then it will start to swing the other way. It always does.
I fear that there's going to be some horrible event that happens before people start to re-look at things, because it's already brewing. You know, the fact that Newsnight guy being mobbed.
Yeah.
I think that's the shape of what may come. I hope it doesn't, but I feel like
that comes from the Prime Minister.
But it's also
he wanted a journalist beaten up, and now he's out going, "Oh, what happened to Nick? What? Whatever his name is. That's awful." You wanted a journalist beaten up.
But it's the obvious culmination of what's been building up since the pre-Brexit, we don't need experts, they're all lying to us for their own motivations kind of vibe that's been built up. And now there is a whole group of people who don't want to hear from anyone who disagrees or suggests that there might be an alternative.
Well, I kind of had a go at someone in the Discord who was saying that the BBC doesn't report the truth, doesn't report honestly, I think may have been his phrase. And that's bullshit. They might not say what you want them to say, and they might get it wrong sometimes. And, you know, I don't know about the whole Laura Kuenssberg thing. I do think it's slightly odd that she's friends with Boris Johnson. I think it's inappropriate. But, you know, having us both worked at the BBC and we still know people that work there, I would say that it's one of the more honest stations.
I think
Sky was always called never wrong for long.
Yeah.
Because people would say, well, how come Sky breaks stories an hour before the BBC? It's because the BBC would check it.
Yeah,
Sky would just come in and
exactly.
go, well, we've heard this. BBC would check it.
That's what I was going to say. From my experience, having been a journalist at the BBC, and admittedly on a smaller scale than a lot of these people, there were a lot more checks and balances in place. You had to be bloody sure of yourself.
Moomin says the BBC keeps screwing up, though. Give me one example. One example, Moomin, where the BBC have screwed up, because I don't know what that means.
I think it's interesting that the BBC do screw up, but they're the closest thing we've got, which is really sad, to an impartial kind of like voice. And it's not great, and it's not always impartial. And the fact that they have to do that thing of, oh, we've spoken to a right wing, and now let's speak to a left wing. It's a bit awkward at times. But it's the closest thing we've got. And otherwise, it's really sad that all the other stations are kind of like right of centre. But I think you're right. I think the pendulum is swinging. I think it's hopefully swinging already. I think that the worst point was Brexit, was Trump, was all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the pendulum is slowly swinging. But as you say, it takes 10, 15 years. And that's throughout history. It always goes one side to the other. But we just happen to be in a quagmire of it because of COVID. But I think GB News have missed the boat, I think, for it. I think if they were around a couple of years ago, this would have been brilliant. But I think now people see them for what they are. I hope people are kind of waking up to that shit.
Moomin has given us
guys, I'm going to have to jump. Have a great weekend.
All right, Claire, lovely. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Moomin has
Bye-bye.
given a few examples. Moomin says that awful journalist they hired. Don't know who that is. Cliff Richard filming his house to do with sexual claims. That was awful. I'll give you that. Paying enormous fines. You'd have to clarify the enormous fines, Moomin, because I don't know. And then Synergy says Martin Bashir. That was 25 years ago. And here's the thing. Moomin says Bashir. That was 25 years ago, right? And it was awful. But here's the thing. His technique is no different. In fact, is actually better. Remember the fake shake, right? His technique is several steps better than the fake shake in the News of the World. His technique is no different to what the Sunday newspapers do, the tabloids do. It's just that we hold, rightfully so, the BBC to higher standards. So that was totally inappropriate for the BBC to do. Had the Sun done it, would have been all right. Would have been all right. They
would have been expected, almost.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. That's what they do. That's what they do. They've hacked dead girls' phones. So
I doubt you would have got the Sun reporting on it, even 20 odd years later.
Exactly. The BBC.
They would have just brushed it under if it come out. It just, you know, they might, on page 20, yeah.
It would have been on an even number because no one looks at the even numbers are on the left and no one looks at the pages on the left. It's true. It's a fact. Most people you turn the page and you look at the one in front of you. No one looks on the left. And if you go through a paper, all of kind of the boring stories and the apologies will be on the left. Jimmy Savile, Moomin, for God's sakes, are you seriously bringing up Jimmy Savile?
Here's what I think that
Jesus.
The problem is. The BBC is seen as one massive amorphous body that knows exactly what's going on at all times. It isn't. It isn't.
No, of course
it's
not.
Loads of tiny little teams battling for little bits of funding all the time. So what might happen in one department certainly isn't known about in the next.
Moomin says, I mean these big things as though you've made a point. You haven't made any point. You've said paying enormous fines. I don't know what that means. You mean you said Bashir? Well, they totally covered that. Jimmy, you're really bringing up Jimmy Savile? Are you one of those people that thinks everybody in the BBC knew that Jimmy Savile was a paedophile? Because that's insane.
I'm assuming they didn't send it out on a memo when you joined the BBC.
No, but before I worked in TV, I'd heard rumours about Jimmy Savile. I've heard rumours about other people. Does that make me complicit because I've heard rumours about people? Moomin, come on, man. Savile, you're saying Savile, for God's sake.
And
then you saw the coverage. Sorry, go on, Kate. Go on, Kate.
I knew
sorry.
someone who worked in they did stuff in outside broadcast, and when I worked with them a few years ago, they were saying, things happen, but they were sort of seen as in this. You didn't, looking back on it now, yes, it was wrong because we think about things in a different way, but being invited back to people's flats and whatever is, it wasn't thought, then it wasn't really thought of as wrong. It's also because times have changed and people didn't realise what was happening to them or to their friends was actually wrong because, it's all that you can't say that everyone knew about it. Yeah, people knew things were happening, but they didn't necessarily know they shouldn't have been happening.
Then
because we look at things in a different way, sort of.
Pandy says the BBC, quoting Moomin, the BBC keeps screwing up though, then offers a couple of pretty historic examples. Yeah, they're old. I mean, but that Jimmy Savile thing really gets to me because the BBC could have handled it a whole lot better. But to think that everybody in the BBC knew about it. He knew about it, his producer probably knew about it, maybe a couple of people on the periphery that knew about it. That's it. The police knew about it.
The difference also is so when journalists, like the fake Shake's a good example, we remember it because it was the Sun, but we also remember that the journalist went to a court case. And with Sky News and with other papers, Daily Mail and stuff, you might hear about a case about a journalist that worked somewhere that did something that is now under investigation.
Yeah.
But with the BBC, it's an entity in our heads. It's the BBC. So we can just reel off these things because it's one entity and we don't see that the journalist behind it that did one screwed up thing. And so in our minds, we're always going to remember the BBC stuff. We're never going to remember the ITN news stuff. We're never going to remember the Sky News stuff. We're going to remember maybe the journalist because that's the person that gets called out. And so the BBC hasn't, they're really going to struggle. They're always going to struggle with this fight.
Well, because we pay for it directly, and because there is an argument about the license fee. I think it's kind of a bit old-fashioned, but we hold it to higher standards. You go through the Sun, Hillsborough. Geez, okay, that should have closed it down itself. The hacking of the phones. I had my phone hacked. When I was doing Rise, I had my phone hacked. All of these things, but it's the Sun. That's fine. It's the news of the world. That's okay. And rightfully so, we hold the BBC to account. But as Katherine said, when the BBC discovers something wrong, like Bashir, like Savile, they go to town in examining it and doing it out in public. That I would suggest they perhaps do it a little bit too. I think they covered the Bashir thing too extensively. There's too much hand wringing going on, but that's what they chose to do. The Sun doesn't do that. The News of the World never did that. Sky doesn't do that. It doesn't happen. Anyway, it's Paul McCartney's birthday today, and hello, Mucky. Are you soaking wet? Do not come near me. And Katherine, I would like your Paul McCartney memories, please. Your memories of Sir Paul McCartney.
I remember when he did that lovely photo where he's drinking a cup of tea. I remember that almost every day.
He's what photo? I tell you what I like.
The beardy one with the jumper
and
the cup of tea.
I like pictures of the Beatles with cats.
Yes.
That's my favourite thing.
Like those.
Here's what I also like. Is I like seeing pop stars wearing their own merch. And I think that and I put this out, this is my gift to you, viewers and listeners, someone should do this, a Twitter feed where it's pop stars and rock stars wearing their own merchandise. I love that. And there's quite a few pictures of Paul in like Wings t-shirts and stuff like that. So I like that. I think that's fun. By the way,
he's never shied away from a bit of Gonshin, has he, Paul?
No, exactly. By the way, if anyone wants to drop out, oh God,
Paul McCartney is the best gig I've ever been to.
Oh,
Paul
what
McCartney.
era?
It was 2011.
Whereabouts was that, please?
Abu Dhabi.
Whoopah.
You had a free gig every night with your Formula One tickets. So I got to see Britney Spears, who was awful. She lip synced the whole way through.
Oh no!
It was at that. Yeah, it wasn't good. We stayed because it was free. The next night we got to see Incubus and who did Don't Kill the Reaper or what? Don't Fear the Reaper.
Don't fear Blue Oyster.
The Blue Oyster Cult.
Can I just say I have to stop? Sorry. It's Umpa says, did he play Abu Dhabi Road?
Nice.
No.
Just on that, I need to drop off to get to a meeting, guys. But thank you. It's been fun. Speak to you later.
Thank you, Dave. Everyone can drop off at any point, and I'm also going to put the link in if anybody wants to come in at any point. You're all welcome. I like doing the show a little bit like this. We did this the other night, Katherine, listening to Alan Bezic. I don't think you were there for that one, and it was lovely. Dave was there. Gatford was there. The usual suspect. Kate, you were there for that, weren't you?
Yes. I was in the Discord.
We did it in Discord, and it was nice. And we just listened to Alan Bezic as it was going out live, and we pause it and comment on it, and we dissected it, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, I really like the Alan Bezic, the old 80s stuff. It was pretty crazy, especially when he called that woman a bee. I kind of just went, wow.
There's a lot of that. He does. I should do some of those again, actually, and I will. I do remember one
occasionally
comment.
now I find his reactions disappointing.
Oh yeah, I do remember him I listened to a bit, and he said an awful thing about people with AIDS, because that was like 84, 85 when AIDS was really kicking off, and he did say an awful thing, and I thought,
didn't he imagine recently, or am I dreaming this? I hope I'm dreaming this. Didn't he imagine some kind of nightmarish scenario with refugees the other night?
He said that they should be grateful for being locked up in detention centres, because surely it's better than the war.
Yeah, and perhaps what we should do is round them up in a corral.
Okay. I mean, he does play the contrarian. And he said the other day, he actually said, and I'm surprised he admitted this, he did say to someone, this is a character. When I'm on the radio, this isn't the real Alan Bezic. I am playing Alan Bezic. And I've long known that, but it's the first time I'm surprised he said it so directly.
I think the problem is at the moment, there are a lot of people making money by playing that game without announcing they're playing that game, and people are following their lead.
Mike Graham.
Yeah.
Mike Graham is the one. Mike Graham, who I like as a person, although I found it so intimidating when the two mics came into our studio. You were producing, so you were behind the glass on the night of the Manchester bomb. And we'd handled it very delicately and sensitively. And they came and said, well, it's a mad Muslim who's gone crazy. I was going, whoa, we don't know. What do you mean you don't know that? Of course we know that. And when there's two of them, even one of them actually, I'm intimidated by them. But when there's two of them going, well, we know it's a mad Muslim and we got to stop this Islamic terrorism. Okay, it did turn out to be that. But at that point, it happened like 3 hours before. And he has told us that he's playing a character, and he says, it's all bullshit. I just say what needs to be what will be said to get attention and stuff. But people believe that.
But that's all right when you're on TalkSport wanging on about football. He gives a toss, but this is more important.
We would get so many. We would see all the texts for the other shows, and we'd get so many texts during our show that were for Mike, or tweets, saying, parroting his line about that he was an alternative to the mainstream media. And people saying, it's great to hear something that's not the mainstream media speaking the truth. And I was like, but we're owned by Murdoch, right? We're owned by Murdoch. So that's disappointing. And again, go woke, go broke. That's the game that we can't, wouldn't play.
It was going back to like the GB News advertising thing. I clicked on the hashtag Go Woke, Go Broke in Twitter.
Yeah.
Why? Oh my God, there was like pub owners saying they were going to go into work and pour their crates of Copperberg down the sink.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you're obviously not a very good businessman, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to go and pour that lot. Wait, won't be selling that anymore. And then someone did pipe up about, what you're going to complain about Wetherspoons selling Copperberg, and then you've got the guy that actually owns Wetherspoons. But
But the other thing is that they are offended by people being quote unquote performative about their beliefs, if it's in terms of being compassionate or being thoughtful or being careful with their language. But then they're talking about huge, grand, ridiculous gestures like going into the middle of a shopping centre and ripping their masks off and stuff. And they don't see that there's, you know, they're two sides of the same coin.
I also remember when you could disagree with someone. It was, for me, it was Brexit was the thing where you couldn't disagree with someone. You weren't allowed to be friends with someone that you disagree with, and maybe it happened before, and I wasn't aware. But that seemed to be when the division got wider and it got violent, and I mean verbally violent and potentially physically violent. When we look at Joe Cox.
Hang on.
Okay. Should we wait? What's that? What's that brown stain on your computer?
I know. What is it?
What is that brown stain? For those listening to the podcast, Katherine has gone to get the door in her pajamas. She has lifted her computer screen up so we can see the back of the computer, and there is a disgusting brown
next to my daughter, I was just having breakfast. Hang on.
stain. What does she eat for breakfast? Shit. Still family friendly. I would say that word in front of my kids.
In fact, that's tea last night. That's chocolate mousse.
Chocolate mousse.
Hey, the fact I can recognise it suggests I'm on top
Taste
of things.
Lick it clean. Lick it
They're old
clean.
enough now that I can be assured it's not poo.
I'm going to play an advert for the pots. There we go. That's that done. Brexit was when the division got, and I remember people. Do you remember when I got called out by some people that I sort of knew a little bit, they called me out on Twitter for saying I liked Jay Aston from Bucks Fizz. That she'd been nice to me because she was standing for, it was the Brexit party. It was one of Farage's parties, right? And she was standing for it. And I came out on Twitter knowing it would be slightly incendiary, but saying, I don't really care what her politics were. All I know is I met her once and I spent an afternoon with her and Bucks Fizz and she was delightful to me. How can you like her? How can you, and it's like, okay, I mean, the Brexit party was kind of extreme, but I could completely disagree with her politics. You could argue maybe her politics are racist, and I don't know. But I could completely disagree with the politics, but still like her as a person, still spend some time in her company and enjoy her company. And that's how it used to be. And it isn't like that anymore. You get attacked.
I have friends who were, have completely opposite political Brexit views to me. I just learned, well, we just don't talk about that stuff down the pub because I don't want to get in an argument with you about these things. We just keep it light and fluffy these days.
Yeah. But that's how it always used to be. You'd have different politics. Maybe you'd have a little argument about it if that was your kind of thing, and then you go, all right, well, see you next week. Yeah, sure. But now you can't be seen. You can't. I'm using slightly their language. Some people will attack you if you are seen being friendly with someone who is the complete political opposite. Go on, Michael.
On both sides of the coin, there's always going to be those noisy people.
Yeah.
Whether it's the weak left-leaning, whatever, or the hard right, there's going to be those noisy people. And now they've got platforms. They've got Twitter. They've got Facebook. They've got all these places, and they can just. And I think that they're the minority of of that bigger group. You've got your centrist, let's say the right wing. Let's say you've got your alt-right, your centre-right, and you've got some people who are confused and they're not sure, and they've been duped maybe by the mainstream media and feel like they've voted Brexit when they shouldn't have to. But it's the ones that feel that they have to justify it now and have to stand by their kind of point that are going to just keep doing that. But the left will do that as well. Like, will go at you. And it's really annoying because now you don't know what the argument is anymore between things like GB News, see things like Twitter. I only get my news from Reddit, really. And even that is kind of like filtered out and like Reuters headlines. And if I can't work out what the facts are, then I just don't bother looking at it because it's just going to be a quagmire of BS.
But you're right to highlight as well that it's the left that do it as well as the right, because a lot of people go, it's just the right, but actually it's not. It is the left that. Hello, Katherine.
Well, I think it's not about people who put their political affiliations as their personality, and that's what it's become. This is who I am. I am a more advanced human being than you because I know this about that person that you didn't know about, and you have to now align with me or you're a bad person. It's all part of this thing of people feeling that their lives are out of control, right? And the way they gain control or feel important is by having this as a personality, right? So now I am left wing, super left wing, or now I am alternative. I am a truth seeker. I'm a critical thinker, whatever it might be. That's why things have got so extreme, because people feel like their lives are in free fall, and certainty has become so much more important, which is why you cannot listen to nuance. There's no room for it.
I wonder, right, because this conversation, none of this exists in my mum's world because she is not on Twitter. And she has opinions on kind of like Boris Johnson and she thinks that the virus thing is being overplayed and that so she has opinions, but none of this stuff about GB News or the left and the right, the extreme left and the extreme right and all of that, none of that exists in her world because she's not on Twitter. And I noticed that let's go to Twitter. And my suggested, let's see what you may find this interesting, right? What do they call it? So far, it's GB News fails. AstraZeneca is trending under classic rock. How much of a logistical difficulty would an LGBT Love Island be? GB News wins. Dominic Grieve, HS2, quite like Dominic Grieve. Tory shambles. Kojima, UKIP. Kojima is a gaming thing. Normally it's a little bit tougher than that, but a lot of those things are there to get me angry. Bloody LGBT Love Island, what's that shit? Let's have a look at that. Bloody GB News successes. That's terrible. It's all there to get me angry. And it does. And I don't give a toss about any of that stuff, but I read that list and I find myself getting angry.
And that's what you think that's the conversation going on out there, and it's a small one, but but we're seeing it now on the app or whatever. You're like, that's the conversation going on out there, and in your world, between Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, your friends, your family, that's one of your maps. That's one of your worlds, and it's there all the time. And every time you open it, it's always going to be there. But I think the context is I like to think, the optimist in me thinks that it's a smaller conversation, and it's not always there. I like to think. It's not accurate, but I have to, because otherwise I'm just go mad. And also to your points, Katherine, I think people do make their politics their personality, but because they are so subject to much more news, what you end up doing is becoming kind of a parody of the talking points that you've heard of the day. You become a parody of Nick Ferrari. You become a parody of Neil, whatever. You just keep doing it, and you're almost playing a role, pretending to be them and sticking by them. You haven't got the facts, but you just keep saying those talking points.
So I was saying to Scott Balcony, I said to him today, do you remember when Nick Ferrari was the most extreme right-wing thing on radio? And he said, yeah, now he looks like a cuddly uncle, and it is. Nick Ferrari is so tame now. And I remember when I worked at LBC getting really angry, and he has a thing where he calls, he refers to people of colour. Sport. You got it. All right, sport. He has different gradations. So people of colour are sport.
Sir, doesn't he?
Someone's sir, and but it's funny you've noticed it, Michael. Yeah, exactly. All right, sport. I think he is racist, but he ain't nothing compared to what we got now. He's nothing.
Yeah. And we thought it was going crazy back in 2007, 2006, and it was all getting out of hand and becoming really divisive, in news and stuff. But we didn't have a clue what was going to happen.
Mandy says he welcomed on David Lammy by saying, "Hey, man."
My God, that's terrible.
David Lammy's here to give us. David Lammy's here to give us some jive. Hey, man.
Nice.
That's incredible. Oh my God. But I was going to say, what can we do? But we've we've certainly in the last 3, 4, 5 years tried to be the antithesis of this, and we haven't always got it right. I don't do any more, and I did used to do it, going on and saying something really divisive for the sake of phone calls. I used to, and it's a fun game to play sometimes, but I used to, LBC would go on and say something quite divisive, not necessarily political. I remember upsetting Anna Rayburn once because I said all libraries should be shut and turned into blockbuster videos. And that was because David Lloyd said, our audience is old women and they are dying and we want to get some younger people. So I do that kind of stuff. But I certainly haven't done the... trying to think of a Muslim phone in after a terrorist attack. We turned down Tommy Robinson and not Abu Hamza. It was he's gone to prison recently, hasn't he? I can't remember the guy's name. Anyway, we turned him down, but we were told, it'll be good radio. You'll get loads of calls on it.
The number of arguments we had, and I think unpopular as a result with some of my colleagues because we just would not go there. And we were forever being told, but you're a breakfast. He's a great guest. No, he's not.
He's a shit stirrer who's now gone to prison for, encouraging terrorist activities. Hazy says, I broke my rules yesterday on Twitter and got called out for it. Ended up feeling like a wally. It's not worth it. Tell us more, please, Hazy. I would like to know what you did and what happened as a direct result.
For the most part, there is very little point engaging someone who has pinned their personality to a political ideology and has the emojis to prove it in their profile on Twitter. Yeah. There's no point. You're wasting your breath. You are not going to convince them otherwise. And so what's the point?
A while ago, I used to mute. Now I block. And then shortly after I came to that philosophy, Limmy started his BAMO, block and move on. And recently I've set it so that if people aren't following me, I don't see their tweets. Yeah. And that's made it a lot cleaner timeline for me. But Twitter, I think, is awful. If we didn't have to grind to sell this shit that we're doing, then I wouldn't be on Twitter because I think it's horrible. It's like crack. It is that thing of getting an endorphin rush because of likes and retweets and people's coming on and saying nice things to you and giving you ghost hugs and all of that.
You also get sucked into the arguments or the controversy or whatever when I don't know, however many thousand people you see, everyone on there starting to complain about diversity or where, those sort of nights where something big, and it's like, I'll mention it to my other half and go, oh, there's furore about this. And he'll go, well, where have you seen that? On Twitter. Oh, it doesn't mean anything then. And then I'll just go, yeah, whatever, because he doesn't use it. So, it's like, I know I do get sucked into it. Yeah,
you get sucked in, but when you're not in it, it's a small conversation that only a few people are having online.
They're like, why are you listening to that?
Yeah.
As Danny Baker said after there was an election recently, and they a few months ago when the Tories' points were up despite everything, and he said, well, there you go. All of our clever left-wing put-downs and funny one-liners and stuff are worth absolutely nothing because it doesn't change a thing. Doesn't change the thing. Here we go. Stacey says, I deactivated my Twitter account yesterday. I got so fed up with the racism, scaremongering and hatred. Stacey, you could have just unfollowed me, man. I'll miss a lot of people on there, I know, but it seems a sensible thing for me to do. And I do think it is bad for a lot of people's mental health. I hate it. If we didn't have to grind, when eventually I leave this goddamn business, I think I'm going to come off it. It serves no purpose except to sell tickets and merch and publicise this show.
Yeah.
What are you doing today, Katherine Boyle?
Pajamas, mostly.
You're having a pyjama day?
I took my day off yesterday, as I keep doing, and then wonder why I'm so shattered at the end of it.
Well, what did you do yesterday instead of having a day off?
I organised my wardrobe, kind of. I sorted out some banking stuff for our new incarnation. Just little bits and bobs of life admin that take up time. And then before you know it, you've managed to squeeze in a sandwich and a cup of coffee and the kids are home again.
Me and Katherine are a limited company now. Too Many Cats Limited. We're a limited company. Hazy said, I called Mike Graham a bad word. He retweeted it and I had to get involved with the backlash from his followers. Then he said, I wasn't feeling great as I was awaiting a COVID result, so went into bell cheese mode. Well, it happens. I do the retweet. If someone says something bad to me, I do the retweet, and I get called out for that sometimes. But I do think it's a public forum. If you say something bad about someone, it's out there publicly, and retweeting it, say, look at this. So I get why he did that. I'm sorry you went through that. But that I remember Me and Katherine got suspended at Talk Radio because I'd made a really inappropriate remark about Julia Hartley-Brewer when she complained, and we got suspended. This is when she was being investigated for calling members of her team C's. And we got suspended for it over Christmas, and it was horrible. It was horrible. And it got very, very close to us not working there anymore until I phoned up my boss and said, "This is silly. This is getting out of hand. Why don't we come in and apologise to you and see if we can sort this out?" And we went in, and I said to Katherine, "We have to suck this up. We have to suck this up. Whatever he throws at us, we nod and we say sorry, and we say we'll never do it again, because we're yay close to losing our jobs." And so we got pulled up, and I had said something that was inappropriate, so we got pulled up on that. We were called out because we were we weren't on over the general election, and we were going to Twitch, and we mentioned it, and someone had complained about it. We think we know who, but we don't know. And they said, "So by the way, we want to bring up." Sorry, Katherine.
I said what undermined that complaint was that we'd forwarded the link to our boss and said, "This is what we could do for you."
But they said, "So we hear you're doing this Twitch, and you're stealing audience from us. What kind of figures are you getting?" And I said, "Well, on an average, we get between 50 and 100. So you get between 50,000 and 100,000. I said, no. We get between 50 and 100. And we're really sorry if you think that is stealing from News Corp." So there was that. But there was also the thing I was told not to comment negatively on the Talk Radio Twitter feed. I wasn't allowed to call it out. And the specific one they brought up was, I have no idea why they did this, but they tweeted like 20 criminals wanted in London or something, and 19 of them were black. And I tweeted something like, what is the point of this? Why is Talk Radio tweeting 19 wanted black criminals? Why would you do that? And then go and read the responses to this to see how racist a lot of our listeners are. It was that. And I got called out for it, and I was told, you must not be negative about the Talk Radio tweets, can't point out racism because we're not racist. And I had to go on that one. I did vacillate a bit, and I did say, I think it was a racist tweet. I think you are encouraging racists. If you look at the Facebook feed where I've been called a queer and told I should hang myself and all of that, but I won't do it again. And oh man, their social media was awful, and all I needed was one person. They started streaming the shows live on YouTube, and they did ours, and it was awful. It was just full of racists. And I said to the kid running, I said, "You got to pull that feed now. I don't have the authority to pull it." I said, "Well, I'm not going to speak on air until you pull that feed, because I'm not having that going on during our show."
Because we'd agreed to do it as long as it was monitored, because the chat was an absolute shit show. Yeah. And we're talking white supremacy, right? It wasn't even amateur racism.
It wasn't the fun racism. It was the nasty kill people racism.
Possibly violent thugs, right? Who were telling their friends to come along. They were putting it on some kind of other platform, and they were calling people in that weren't normal, usual listeners, right? So we'd said, we know this is happening. In fact, there had been an email gone round previously about a certain group that were targeted.
Oh, yeah.
And we said, okay, we'll do it, but you need to monitor this really closely, because it quite quickly becomes toxic. The guy that was supposed to be monitoring it was not at his computer for a vast proportion of that show.
It was.
I said, no, we're not doing it. It's irresponsible.
I did say to Katherine, I think we have blood spatters on our shirt from working at this place. And I naively thought we could affect a change from within. I really thought that we could. But when it started, the first 18 months, it was fun. And I remember them selling it to us. We want to get George Galloway to host a show and just talk about Big Brother, because he's a big fan of Big Brother. And we just want people to talk about soaps and about what's on telly. And we don't want to be newsy. And then
we were supposed to be like the cheeky little brother of Five Live. We were supposed to be cheeky.
Yeah, and then it changed when News Corp took over. I remember thinking we got blood spatters on our shirt, and it did sit. People would call me out saying, "How can you work for those people? How can you work at that station? And how can you work for Murdoch and all of that? And you should quit." And I never agreed with the "you should quit" stuff, because I thought, I've got kids and I've got a mortgage. But I couldn't answer the "how do you work" there. I couldn't answer it. Really.
And that's why you are where you are now. And I know you say the last year you don't see the point in it. I think you said that right a lot earlier.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the point of it is that like you're on the outside, and being on the inside comes with all that nonsense, all that bureaucracy, all that stress that you've just been through, and that's why you are where you are. And yeah, it's difficult, but man, you're sticking to your principles, morals, and ethics, and that's kind of beautiful.
It is. I did say earlier on, Katherine, I feel like the last year has been a waste, in as much as we've treaded water. We've not earned enough to live on. It's paid some of the bills. If the numbers were quite high, the numbers were slightly fake on Twitch anyway because of their algorithms. But the numbers are, and it feels. I just look back on the last year and think, what was the point? And I'm aware that might be demeaning to some of to maybe even you two. And Dave came on and made a good point that if it hadn't been for this, he wouldn't have met us and he wouldn't have met loads of other people. And I get that. So I don't in any way want to demean anybody's positive experience of the last 12 months. That's cool and that's your thing. But from a professional point of view, I kind of think, what did we do?
From a professional point of view of the past, but look at it now. It's 2021. Like, not to blow smoke up, but you.
I have to be careful. Jimbo, can you say something to prove you're a real human being, please? Thank you. Billy Hayes, can you tell me, I know Zoom's gone quiet. Billy Hayes, can you tell me, Billy, can you tell me you're a real human being, please? Because this is how it works. Billy Hayes, can you hear us? Looking sus. He's undoing his belt. Billy, can you hear us? Billy. You can't, Billy, if you can hear us, just lift up your hand so I know you're a real human being and not a clip of video. I'm scared. Okay, he's a real human being. Okay, we can let him sort out his sound stuff. For those who don't know, we have someone who comes on and shows us a picture of a peen, which obviously we can't show on Twitch. But they've got Wise, and they've started doing a thing where they show a clip of someone sat at a computer trying to get it to work. So I go, oh, it's a real person. We'll let them sort their thing out, and then it cuts to the picture of the pain. So that's why.
And why is it that guy from The Sopranos?
That's the thing, isn't it? It's the guy from The Sopranos. I don't know if it's his peen, but it's Billy. Can you speak? Silenced by the main. He's taken
sound issues.
He's taken a vow of silence after getting his little body spanked by Mike Graham and the whole of the. But it does mean, look, we get to let's zoom in, not to embarrass him, but to look at those sexy guitars. That's some background, right? That's some background. I want a piece of that pie.
Don't get into buying guitars now. Just when you know.
No. He did
stop buying video games.
Well, I've got guitars. You've got plenty of guitars.
I got too many guitars. They're up in the loft now. Billy's having an absolute nightmare. Look at this. This is incredible scenes at the Hayes household. Wow. Oh, there's Katherine. That's Katherine. It's Katherine's incredible scenes. Hey, Jimbo, how you doing, man?
Hello. Yeah, I heard the bat signal go up for something I've been having a conversation with all of my team about, actually, and having perspective about achievements. We've been in the middle of a bloody global pandemic for over a year, and a lot of my team were feeling flat and it not feeling like they've achieved a lot.
Yeah.
But and I said to them, we've kept the lights on in the thing I can't talk about, and continue delivering like a really good service in the middle of all of that.
Yeah.
In the middle of all of that. And survival is an achievement.
Yeah.
I mean, I went self.
Hang on a second. I think you guys have gone a little bit quiet. Just say sorry, Kate. Do you want to just say something?
Hello.
There we go. You're back. I moved to a different shot, and now I'm nervous because instead of saying Billy Hayes, it says Billy on the screen.
Ooh.
I'm suspicious of that. also our little penis prankster, would started off with
Perfect
random names.
opportunity.
Yeah. So, Billy, if you're in our chat, is that you in our Zoom? I'm keen to find out, man. Otherwise, everyone's going to be looking at my beautiful face, because I'm not cutting to that shot until I know exactly who that Billy is.
Anticipation's killing me.
Are we going to see?
Am I going to have to avert my young female
Yeah,
eyes?
if the ladies could look away, leave this to the guys.
So I'm just here for the penis. All good.
Same.
That's the Michael story, man.
Yeah, man. It's my life story. I'm here for the penis.
Who is it going to be? I don't believe that's our Billy.
No.
I don't believe that's our Billy, because he came in hot as Billy Hayes earlier, and he got that camera working. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go here. I'm going to ask him to start his video. Let's see what. Oh, it's definitely. Billy says in the chat, it's defo him. Okay. Then why can't we?
Maybe he's in cahoots.
Billy, are you in cahoots? Is that what this is? All right. Well, we'll go back to that shot then. Yeah, you're right, and I do forget that it has been such an horrendous 16, 17 months, 2 years for some people, close to 2 years, 18 months, for the world. And it hasn't. Do you know what? I was so proud of our show. We're talking a lot about Talk Radio, but maybe it's cathartic. I was so proud of the first few weeks, months of the lockdown shows that we did. First of all, we had such an argument about being allowed to work from home. When it kind of kicked off, we said to our bosses, we want to work from home. They said, nope, can't do it. We said, we want to, we don't think it's safe, because we found out later that some people with COVID had been in the building and been in the studio. We said, we want to work from home. No, we're just following government guidelines. And I remember being on the school run, and Boris Johnson did a thing saying the new guidelines are work from home if you can. And so we messaged Liam and said, we're working from home tonight. He said, no, you're not. You're coming in. I said, you said you're following government guidelines. The guidelines are today, work from home if you can. We can. You don't have to put us on the air, but we're going to invoice you for a show. And it got sorted. But the first few shows, we had one mic, a Yeti mic, and it was on kitchen chairs, and we were sat like this, knee to knee, doing the show like that, and it was so much fun. It felt like wartime effort, you know.
It did. And
then it kind of progressed, and I had a desk there. I got a desk out of the garage, and I cleaned it up, and we had a studio there, and it was exciting. I remember the kids coming round, and it felt like war. You know, it felt like we're doing something else, and it was the fact that we didn't. Billy, not peen guy. Come on, man. I'm going off that shot. The fact that we didn't talk about COVID unless people wanted to phone in and talk about COVID and tell their story. We made a point of not, because it was boring and it was scary and it was horrendous. Billy, can you hear us?
Yes.
What are you doing, man?
I'm an idiot. I'm supposed to be good with audio. Awful.
Zoom is. I'm
on my phone.
You're on your phone. It works great. It's nice to see you, Billy. Welcome to the chat. How are you feeling after getting that gorgeous little botty spanked by Graham? Mike Graham.
It was like as soon as I did it, it kind of made me laugh. And then I thought, what are you doing? Like, why? I made a conscious effort, and it was to do with you guys, to be fair. Conscious effort a long time ago. Just don't get involved in that silliness. That person's probably having a bad day. You know, you can't. Yeah. You know. All that sort of stuff, and I just, like I said, I was feeling a bit down yesterday. I was waiting for a COVID test. I wasn't feeling very well, and I just ended up getting involved. And I look back at my tweets and replies yesterday. I was like, stop. You know, what are you doing? Don't do it anymore. It's not worth it.
And it makes you feel lousy.
Exactly. I've done it before. I've tweeted you guys something, maybe like a joke or whatever, and then I get filled with anxiety. I think, I really hope that goes taken the right way. Yeah. It's a real tough one.
I learned you can't really do jokes on Twitter.
Oh, no. I'm going to retweet something in a bit that I saw on Twitter a few days ago that could come in handy for for a situation, Billy, no, it's not a joke, where you end up being barraged by dickheads. It's like a mass block. Anyone that likes a mean tweet.
Yeah,
everyone- I'll find it. What's it called?
Nuclear bot or something, isn't it?
Something like that. The one I saw wasn't that, but I'll find it and retweet it later on.
How you doing, Billy? You all right? Nice to see you, man.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing all right. Feel better today. Got my result today, so I don't have any form of variant. I just got a cold. Just need to man up Snowflake and all that. So
Man,
yeah.
F up. Goddamn, wasting out. The NHS is collapsing because of people like you.
People like me, yeah.
Wasting the time. Have you had your jabs?
Not yet, and I'll tell you why. And I'm not.
No, go on.
They texted me when it was still going out to like the over 50s or the late 50s or whatever it was, to say, due to an underlying health condition, you've been selected. And that worried me because I thought, I don't know about any underlying health condition.
Well, what a way to find out. Flipping heck.
So I called my doctor and they said, please can you I called my doctor and they said, no, it's a mistake. We've had a few of those calls.
Yeah.
You can go and have the jab if you want, but don't worry about it. There's no underlying health condition. So then the lady from whoever it is contacted me and she said, why have you not booked your jab? And I said, I'm not really in line for it. I said, I'm happy to wait my turn. I am slightly anxious about it. I'm not going to lie. I am slightly anxious about it. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to. So I said to her, I said, look, I'm happy to wait my turn. Let everybody else go first, and I'll do mine as and when. What I found really weird was when she said to me, well, I'm going to have to put it down that you've refused. I said, no, I'm not refusing.
Oh.
I'm not refusing. I said, I'm just saying that I'll wait my turn.
Oh, so it's one of those things where they haven't got the option to put down. He just wants to wait. He's not having it. That's a refusal.
Yeah, and so then maybe I'm on the refuse list. I don't know, but I certainly haven't been contacted since. And what I said it done, she felt rough. She's waiting for a second one, and then I'm just kind of tentatively waiting to have one.
I don't think they contact you anymore.
Just book it online.
Yeah,
book it online. Book it online. But also, I know loads of people that are scared of having it because they're scared of needles. Some because they. I know someone who had a blood issue before. It's not an underlying thing, but was very nervous about it, and then went and spoke to the doctor and said, I don't want the AstraZeneca, and they fixed it so that she got the Pfizer. And some that are scared of it because it's it's not untested, because it hasn't been the vaccine hasn't been around for a long time. And I kind of get it. I felt confident that it had been tested enough for me. I have very low standards. The amount of crap that I put in my body, I really have very low standards of what enters my bloodstream. But I get it. And I wouldn't judge anybody who was nervous around those things. I would find myself judging someone who's like, no, not having a vaccine. It's, the microchip people. I judge those guys.
Yeah, what about the magnetic guys?
I like the magnetic guys. I like the magnetic guys and the time travel guys. Those, I think, are fun.
I mean, I don't know what it's done to me, but I am terrible. I mean, my Wi-Fi on my phone has gone like fallen off a cliff.
Yeah,
I'm sat
same,
next to the router.
same.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm completely interfering with it now.
The magnet.
And my laptops had to be hardwired in. I mean, it's just
There you go, you
it's put
see.
me to shit.
But
really.
no one's
Sorry.
talking about this. Hey, Alistair. Alistair's joined us.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Alistair, I meant to ask you, what's the Delia Smith egg method again? I feel like dippy eggs today.
Yeah. Okay, so get your water boiling.
Yeah.
Okay. Place your egg or eggs in the water for a minute.
Yep.
Make sure it's boiling for that full minute. Then take it off the heat. Make sure the pan's covered. Soft boiled 6 minutes. Hard boiled 9 minutes.
Nice. I'm having that for lunch.
By the
Thanks,
way,
Alistair.
2 comments I want to read out. Mandula says, my jab took away my magnetism. I'm furious. And then Fizbin said, it made me magnetic. All my boners.
Hey, Iain, I was watching a Channel 4 documentary about the anti-vax conspiracy. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And
it's converted.
I didn't watch all of it, but I watched the section where they were discussing, that doctor that caused all the controversy about autism.
Yeah, the mercury.
Yeah.
The MMR and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, basically, they demonstrated how much it wasn't just about what people believe or don't believe, but these anti-vaxxers then just do it for the money, because they attract money. They attract, millionaire. This guy, Andrew, whatever his name is, has got a millionaire backer, and he puts money to keep the campaign going, and then they sell merch on the back of it, and it's just like
merch.
It's just crackers. I mean, and it's sort of sickening, really, because you're talking about people's lives, and it's horrible.
Yeah, it's money. Follow
It's the same as Alex. What's his name?
Let's not go any further with his name, because that guy. Yeah.
I mean, he makes a fortune selling supplements and stuff, and t-shirts
Alex Jones. You're talking Alex Jones. Yeah.
And he's made an absolute industry out of selling brain pills, but selling merch saying that some of the shootings were false flag events, and he's literally selling caps saying that people who were killed in a school shooting didn't die. And
those are those are the kind of people that were treated as jokes 20 years ago. I mean, the whole John Ronson thing with Alex Jones. I'm not for a second blaming John Ronson for the success of Alex Jones. It would have happened anyway. But those people were seen as cuddly eccentrics. When John Ronson also went to Muslim extremist who went to prison for terrorism or certainly promoting terrorism, and they were seen as cuddly extremists who weren't actually a real threat. But as we've seen them grow and grow and grow, they're both huge threats to freedom and safety and everything.
But it's all part of this. But it's great radio. Who cares if it's obviously bullshit? Yeah. Just whack him on. Honestly, you'll get the phones going. The listeners are going to love it. A lot of these people now, and at a certain... I noticed that there are a lot of people on that new news, quote unquote, news site that cut their teeth as a little bit of fun on radio stations.
Right.
And now they're rent-a-gob. And they've been given a degree of authority. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And that is, we criticised the BBC and we're defending it, but that is one of the things, and I think you might have mentioned it, Michael, that is one of the things that they have done. They have promoted those people by doing we have to have two sides of the debate. Well, actually, you don't. When you've got science, you just need the science. You don't need then to get someone. You don't need to get. Was it Norman Lamont who would then go on? Maybe I don't think it was Lamont. It was the cook's dad.
Wilson.
Creamy balls. I think it was her dad would go on and deny the science of global warming. Well, you don't. It's the science. The science. You don't need, or you can have. I think it's like 95% of scientists think that global warming is real. 5% isn't. Okay, we'll have 95% of the interview with that, and then 5% with that, if you have to.
Or just a statement. Yeah. Some people don't agree. Okay.
Some people don't agree. And that's, you're right, Michael. That's
their opinions are available.
Yeah, that the BBC has got wrong is that they have validated, and I can see where that decision has come from, because they get a lot of pressure. It's a wrong decision. They have validated minority arguments and raised them up to sound and look the same as actual facts.
It makes them into like a primary school joke almost. It's like, now let's get your argument in, and it's so like, it's not real conversation or debate.
And then they're in the system. And then one program sees that another program's done it, so they must be all right. And it spreads like that. It's nuts.
Billy, I don't know if you've listened to the new Van Morrison album.
I've only heard. I've got to say, I'm gutted about Clapton. He is a hero of mine. I know he's had a sketchy past, and to be honest, I didn't know about all that. I didn't know all about the Enoch Powell stuff until the documentary a little while ago. I loved him for years. And I still do. And I watched, he had a video about it the other day. And to be honest, all I saw was a 70-year-old man that was just sharing his experience. I don't know how far he's gone. And I certainly don't, buy into it. But, Van Morrison's, it's mad.
The thing with the Clapton and the Racists, and for those who don't know, there was a concert, I think, in 79 when he was in full-blown alcoholism in Birmingham, where he was really racist. You can find the text of it. I don't know if the audio's out there. You can find it's horrible, really horrible. The thing I will say in his favour about that is he's never shied away of talking about it. And he has addressed it, doesn't excuse it, but he has addressed that and he has apologised. And as Alistair and I both know, alcohol and poisons like that make you say, don't make you. Let me take that back. Under their influence, one can say, I've said some horrible things when I was high. Doesn't justify what he said at all.
It looked like a form of self-harming. It was like when I was watching it, when I watched the actual video of him doing it, it looked like just a pathetic, and forgive me, I'm not downplaying alcoholics, but it was just like a pathetic human being that had got to that lowest point that was hurting himself. That's what it looked like to me.
The thing about the vaccines I struggle with is I watched the video and he does go on to name a news source and he says, this guy is the only guy telling the truth. And I had a cursory link at that guy. I didn't really go into much detail. And he does, from what I saw, he does seem like a conspiracy theorist, anti-vaxxer of the worst kind. And what was interesting about Clapton's language in that was, you know, he said, I got the vaccine because my kids were doing it and it feels like they've been brainwashed. And I had the first jab and then I thought I might as well go in and have the second jab. But it feels like my kids have been brainwashed. And actually, I've been reading about it. And this guy is the only guy that's telling the truth.
But when people say things like that, the only guy that's telling the truth, that's almost saying, so don't listen to anyone else. You know, that's what they drum home to their, I would say, followers rather than audience, because it does become something a bit more, doesn't it?
BAPT is in the house.
Nice.
The other thing is, with these people, they're a bit like the Flat Earth Brigade, that even if you present strong evidence, maybe dead bodies in front of these people to say these people died of the vaccine, they still won't believe you. I mean, it's
of the virus. But the thing I do struggle with the virus numbers, because I mean, you all know this. It's not people who have necessarily died of COVID. They tested positive for COVID in the last 28 days. And that you could have been knocked over by a bus. So I do think the numbers are interesting. I'm really looking forward. I'm anticipating the review and the look back. We're in it, and it's difficult. You can be critical, but it's difficult.
And the underlying health conditions thing is another ropey area, because everyone's playing it well. Not playing it doing they were old. They had underlying health conditions, which is not a justification for anyone to have died.
No.
But the underlying health conditions, you see the list of them, they're not necessarily anything that would have killed you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, there was things like broken arm or something on it, or mental health conditions. And it's like, well, that wouldn't make you more susceptible to COVID. So everyone doing it's only old people and, well, one thing, they're just like obviously into eugenics or something. If they're, it's only old and disabled people that are dying, they're fine.
Stacey, sorry, Kate. Stacey very cleverly points out, but that would be an awful lot of people being hit by buses, though. I'm not saying they've all been hit by buses. I've just used
during a lockdown where traffic levels fell to 30% of normal.
I missed. Go on, Jim. Sorry.
I was going to say my nan died quite early on in the pandemic. And it's recorded as a COVID death. And it wasn't COVID that killed her. It was her Parkinson's disease. But her Parkinson's disease killed her because she couldn't swallow. And she couldn't swallow because she'd been on a ventilator because of COVID. And they hadn't been able to give her medication. So her Parkinson's got worse. And so when they say that it's a COVID, that's a COVID-related death.
Yeah, you're absolutely right to clarify that. And going back to what Kate was saying, there is a huge contingent who go, we need to get back to normal because it's just old people and disabled people.
Yeah.
Right. It's just so the normal young people, we need to get on with our lives when actually we're a society and we need to protect everyone. So what, we just carry on, and people who are are weakened by some condition, who are old, we just go. And
long COVID isn't a thing. And,
exactly.
Fit young people aren't getting long COVID. It's all money. It's money. It's a massively invented thing. Humans have invented money as the value of somebody's labour, and that's what we're killing people for.
I want to stop for a second because BAPT is polishing something, and I want to see what he's polishing.
What you got?
What you got in your hand? What is being cleaned up? Look at this.
Yay.
Yes, one of a group of 3. Mine is over there. I'm going to get mine. I've yet to hang mine up. I don't quite know where to put it.
just having a clear out, and I need to stick this on the wall. Yeah.
Treasures.
I've got me signed Chatter's Fate.
Wow. Nice.
Trophies.
That was a good one. That's a classic.
obligatory glasses and stuff.
I didn't hear anything there. You could have done a Clapton on us.
We've all got our pins out.
I've got postcards, record, membership cards.
We've sold loads of those tapes.
You're in my signed record collection thing, which includes you and Chesney Hawkes.
I love it.
Oh, family member.
We have sold loads. He's your family member.
He's like a third cousin or something. Never met him.
I've met him.
I've met him. He signed my CD. Yeah.
He's a really, really nice guy. We sold a load of those haunted cassettes, and I take no responsibility for anybody if any deaths or house fires or carpet accidents or anything like that. That is down to you. You were warned.
I've just listened to it, Ian, just now.
Don't bring the vibe.
And you've come on here.
Yeah.
He's got the Zoom call's going to go twitchy, isn't it?
It was there is a cassette. There's a couple left in this tranche. I'm doing them in batches of 10. There's a couple left, and it's the only way you're ever going to be able to hear a show we did on it's 9/11, British 9/11, the 9th of November 2019 in Brighton. It was a car crash, and I've had my tape to tape deck just going like Billy O, just copying those tapes. Alistair, what did you think of the show?
Well, I mean, the thing is, despite obviously the difficulties you had on the night, I thought you were brilliant, you two, because it was still a great show to listen to, and you were so professional.
Are you back on the source again? What are you saying?
I particularly enjoyed Catherine's impersonation of Cher.
If all else fails, get out the share. I just want to quickly go back, and then we'll talk. Pete made a really good point about the numbers, and it's important. The important thing is they picked a method and stuck with it. What it tells us about the varying numbers of cases is true, even if the numbers themselves aren't quite right. And you're absolutely right. And that's an important point. Billy just went. Billy had enough. Billy said, "Screw you guys. You're pieces of trash. I hate you." And he left.
And he said he had his peen out the whole time.
He had his peen out the whole time. Hey, Quiet Bloke says, I got my cassette a few days ago. My roof is leaking. Coincidence? I don't think so.
I was thinking about, saving it to listen to on like a long car journey, but I think that might actually be dangerous.
Have you got a tape deck in your car?
No.
Katie has a Discord mod.
Yeah.
So we've got
okay. Ixnay on the P3 May. I say ooh yay.
Yeah.
Well, you can rip it off a tape back onto MP3.
You can rip it off a tape, but the audio degrades. I've forgotten how hissy tape is. I didn't put any doubly or anything on
I've had to do that with old Kylie cassettes that we did that you can get on.
I used to love tape. I would buy albums and never listen to the albums. I just tape them because you could get the old days. You could fit a whole album on one side and then a couple of singles. And you do that. And I used to love it. And I was really surprised. And I've cleaned the tape heads and everything. The first few came out terribly. And then I managed to get a master tape. And it's all clean and it's all up to speed. The hiss on there when there's a silence is awful, man. It's lousy. But
see, I never thought to put a couple of singles on the end. Whenever I did it, I'd record the first album, flip the tape wherever it finished, and then record the second album from there.
What?
So if you rewound the tape on the wrong side, you ended up with loads of silence, and then the album started.
So hang on. So you got C90s. We all use C90s. No one used C120s more than once because they were awful. So you did a C90. You had a 35-minute album.
Yep.
You recorded that. So 10-minute space at the end, and then 10-minute space at the beginning of side B.
Yeah, literally just flip the tape. So I had Off the Wall on one side, which was the starting album, and then Thriller started however many minutes into the second side.
I can see the logic of it, but that's the logic of a lunatic and a madman.
That's me.
I can't remember whether we had that gap on our Beach Boys tape. I don't know. I just remember all the tapes that my dad used to play in the car that he'd sat there and recorded off vinyl.
Look at Alistair grinning at the thought of tapes. Were you a tape man, Alistair?
Oh, back in the day, loved them.
But did you buy? I've almost never bought albums on tape. I would buy blank tapes and tape on them. Were you buying albums?
Occasionally, but mainly blanks. Yeah, but I used to record the top 40 as well. But you know,
everyone on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Passage, isn't it?
Who was your top 40 host, Alistair, when you were doing it?
Oh, what's his name?
Gary Davis.
No, it's before that. It's ages ago. I'll have to research his name because
Fluff Freeman. Was it Fluff Freeman?
No, it was something Wilson, I think, maybe. But it was like before a lot of the more famous ones started doing it because I'm that old. See,
I've got Tom.
Because we had Bruno Brooks
Tom
and Mark
Wilson.
Goodyear.
Was it Tom Wilson, the Scottish guy?
Could have been.
Oh no,
Tom.
I don't think it was. No, it was. Don't know. Well, someone will
Can
tell
I
us.
just ask you about the show? You know, in the second half of the show
Of the Brighton show.
Yeah. Did you have more beef, but not as much, with somebody else who was in that group?
Yes,
his
mum and his brother stayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were giving it large as well.
It was horrible. I wish they'd have gone, and we did offer to give, as we always do, if someone's not enjoying it. I don't want anyone to go away and go, well, that was a waste of money. We always offer to give people their money back if they're not enjoying it. But if I remember, because I've not listened to the tape, I've heard
They've
bits
been given
of it.
the tickets, haven't they?
They've been given the tickets. Yeah. Well, hang on a minute. Right, a couple of things have popped up. First of all, what was the one that I missed one, but Nelly says, I've got cassettes of my old student radio shows. Oh, Nelly Dean, get those over to us. That's a night listening to Nelly's old radio shows.
Did you do Blue and True in those days as well?
I think we're done. This has been fun. Catherine, we don't need to do a show tonight. Look at her face.
Yes, we do. Otherwise, I won't get out of my pajamas.
Well, we don't need. We're done. We're done. I mean, if you and the girls want to come over and we get a Chinese or something, I'm happy to do that.
That's a good shout.
Do you want to come and get a
But
Chinese
actually,
tonight?
hang on. No, the girls are going. They're
going elsewhere, are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're welcome to come and have a Chinese tonight, or
All right.
not. Or if you want to stay at home, then stay at home. Have a think.
Gosh.
Don't make a decision now. But we're done.
All right.
So if the slot's available, twitch.tv/Jim Bowen.
Do it. Can we get a shout out for our good friend Jimbo in the chat, please? And if you guys want to go and listen to that. Here's where we're at with doing the hours and stuff, right? As you know, we're contracted to do 60 hours a month with Twitch of talking. Doesn't include gaming. And I think when we go to Patreon, we're going to do less. We're not going to show any B movies. If I'm completely honest, it's just to bump up the hours. And there is a certain resentment of doing them for Twitch when when a job's coming to an end and it's not ended the way you want it to. It's like, oh God, all right, I'll finish out my contract. So there's that kind of vibe. But also we don't want to let you lot down, and we want to give good shows for you lot because that otherwise it's not fair. But we're going to do our 60 hours, and that's probably going to be it for the month. We're going to hit that. But so it means we're being a little bit fast and loose with when we do them. I just felt like doing one this morning, and I just thought we can do it, and then we can have a freer evening. There will be, as far as I'm aware, I'm going to do the radio show on Sunday, and maybe we go into the first bit of Bezic. People want to come along, and we'll have a look because I enjoyed that. We'll do the same thing in the Discord. For those who don't know, I do a radio show here on a Sunday, 8 o'clock, and there's no pictures. There's a little bit of music, and it's a phone in and stuff. And then, maybe we'll go into the first bit of Bezic in the Discord. And then next week, it's going to be slightly different because Monday morning I'm out with Gingerbeard Mark. So we'll have to look at the schedule for next week when we're going to do that. But we're online to do our hours, Catherine.
Okay, cool.
And we want to make it as 60 hours is a real grind, we found. And we want to make it as entertaining for you lot as we can. We don't want to turn in, like filler shows. The B movies are filler, but the show themselves, God knows what Catherine's going to produce when she pops down that laptop. Is she the peen guy?
Wizinator.
We don't want to do. We want to do good shows, and when the shows are crap, we feel like we let you guys down. You're right, Kathy. Back.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, the delivery people know I'm the only one in the street who's in, so I become the depot.
Oh God, I would not say that. We did have, when I lived in Windsor, the woman over the road said one day, "Yeah, I'm going to start refusing to take your parcels now," and which is well within her right to do. And it wasn't that many. I think there was a little bit of that going on, and I had to go, "Okay, well, thanks so much." And I did think you could have done that anyway. Don't don't begrudge it to me. You're the one that did say, you don't have to tell us you're going to say no. You just say no, and no one knows, and it's fine. Anyway.
We found out our next door neighbour, Pete. We found out our next door neighbour.
Jim, God, sorry, Jim, sorry. You, the Fords are also similar looking.
Not now Pete's had his haircut.
Pete's had a haircut.
Yeah, it does look good, everyone. So we found out our next door neighbour was refusing to take our pot. We'd always had a bit of an iffy relationship with them after they crashed into the corner of our house. And we found out they're refusing to take deliveries, or because when we're having a pizza delivered and they'd said, where's number 25? And they said, never heard of it. And then but I was stood on the doorstep, so I heard them. No. They were saying there was no number 25. They were basically trying to get the pizza delivery blade to go. But I was stood on the doorstep and I went, here, mate.
Oof.
I live at a number. Let's say it's number 4. And there are 2 number 4s in my street.
I have that.
Have you got that?
Yeah.
Where's the echo come from? Oh, it's you, BA.
You're the number 4.
Naughty echo.
I've got, because a road runs across because my road sort of runs into a roundabout and another road intersects at the bottom. The gate of the house on the corner is in my street and is the same number, but of the road round the corner.
I'm constantly getting Tesco's come to my house.
Oh no, they always get mine because they're first.
I woke up. I was having a doze the other day, and I woke up and I looked out the window, and there was a washing machine on my drive with 2 men. I went, I'm sorry, lads, that ain't for me.
They had a whole delivery of sleepers once.
Wow.
Railway sleepers for my garden.
Wow.
And they put them all outside there, and someone went and this was from my place of work, we're delivering them, and I think because I think I must have been in or whatever. I don't think I was at work at the time, and someone had to be sent back to move them because they were like, you surely know where she lives, it's up the road. But my neighbour has on their gate their full address. They have the road name on their gate.
Yeah, and people
to stop it, and people still do it. And I'm just like, I always have to say, no, it's the last house on the right, not the first.
Yeah, for some reason as well, my postcode sends people 100 yards up the road. So I will always get a phone call saying, "Are you the funeral directors?" I go, "No, if you turn around and come back." And that was lovely. BAPT, Kate, Michael, Jim, Alistair, Billy's
Brian
Bean.
Matthews, by the way, and I think it was Brian Matthews.
Brian Matthews, we got there on the end. What a bombshell to end the show. Everyone who watched and everyone who took part, thank you so much. Don't forget, I beat Jim, I beat Gatford, I beat Amy in a quiz that was completely fair.
Unbelievable.
Please be quiet. Please be quiet. Please be quiet. I'm clicking the wrong screen. Hang on a minute. Goodbye. It was fun. I won a quiz. We learnt a lot. There's no show tonight. Have a great weekend. Peace and love.